Greetings. How are we all doing, my wonderful queechlings, my beautiful hoons? It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for some tales from the 41st Millennium. We will be continuing with Flight of the Eisenstein, chapters 3 and 4 today.
Greetings, dear queechlings. I am Imperial Servo Skull Unit, Nigel. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, hi, Nigel. You all right, mate? Nice to see you. Bloody hell. Big Nige is in the house, everybody. He's been tidying up this week. He's actually been doing really, really well. Aren't you, Nige? Oh, you off? Oh, all right, then. See you later, Nige. See you later. Well, you can't say he's not polite, can you? Do you know what I mean? So, everyone, how has your Wednesday been? What have you been up to? Let me know in the chat. I want to know. We've had quite a busy Wednesday here. Scarlett's been making bracelets, and she did a post yesterday, and everything went a bit mental. So she's had us helping her out today on that stuff. It's all gone nuts. But how's your Wednesday been? What have you been up to? Oh, we got a lot of Nigel love in the chat. A lot of Nigel love in the chat. Bloody warm in here with all these fucking candles. All right, let's see who we've got in the chat then. Who've we got in tonight? We've got Nosser. We've got Jesky. We've got Leeds J. We've got Gore Crusher. We've got Drebin. We've got Jesky's Fellow. We've got Helly. We've got Wash. Lovely, lovely stuff. Jesky's Fella trying to decide what his next 40k project is. Nice. Are you going to jump onto something different, or is it going to be more orcs? Gore Crusher's been drawing literally all day. Amazing, amazing. Jesky's been getting all the deliveries today. I saw you got your bracelet today. It looks fucking awesome, doesn't it? Thanks for that. Scarlett's like proper made up. She's like proper blown away by like the response to her little bracelets. It's wild. Cecil, brother Cecil's in the house.
Greetings, brother Cecil.
How you doing? You all right, Cec? Wash, you seen Black Braid tomorrow? I like Black Braid. I've never seen them, though. I bet they're fucking good, though. I hope we enjoy that, Wash. Helly's bleaching and dyeing her hair, ready for the weekend. Are you going to a festival on the weekend, Helly? Jesky's Fella. Probably more chaos. Yeah. It's always got to be chaos. It's always got to be chaos. When in doubt, go chaos. That's what I do. Jesky, I haven't taken it off, and I won't now until it wears away. Amazing. Well, it's she sealed them all with matte varnish, but I'd probably avoid getting it wet just in case. But it should last a while. It should definitely last a while. It's all varnished up. Cecil's fucking sick, mate. Just finished work, got home, and my new Liverpool long sleeve is here. Amazing. Oh, you fucking sick. All right. I thought you meant you were fucking ill at first. Nice. Very nice. Oh, 100 and bastard 40 quid. That fucking hell for a football t-shirt. Jesus wept. That's outrageous. That is fucking outrageous. Fucking hell. Helly, just the Sunday of Leeds Fest. Buzzing for Limp Bizkit, not gonna lie. Limp Bizkit are fucking awesome live. I've only ever seen them once. I saw them on the chocolate starfish and hot dog flavoured water tour at the MEN Arena. Well, it was called the MEN Arena then. And it was fucking well good. Drebin, all good. Gigs are getting called off up here in Toronto. How come? Why? What's going down in Toronto? Is it a weather thing or something? What's happening? What's going on in Toronto? In the town of Toronto. I like Toronto. It's a nice place. Helly, never seen them before. Didn't even realise they were on there. Mainly going for Shikari, Bill Murray, and Bring Me the Horizon. Wish I was there Friday for Water Parks, though. Bill Murray are well good live. Really, really good. Drebbing putrid pile cancelled. Organectomy cancelled. Not sure if visa issues or what. Fucking hell, no way. Bloody hell. Hey, Snow, how you doing, mate? Wash. Chocolate Starfish was like the first CD I ever bought. Fucking hell. I can't even remember what the first CD I ever bought was. Wonder what it was. Trying to think what the first CD. Slim Shady LP was definitely one of the first CDs I bought. Chocolate Starfish might be. Slipknot, the first Slipknot album definitely was one of them. What else would I have got around that time? That might have been fucking it, you know. Helly, in it, loved him at Sleep Token. That's what got me into him. Same. I took Scarlett to see Sleep Token and Bill Murray opened and they were fucking well good. I'd never heard of him before. Cecil, it's my own fault to be fair. The replicas are a decent bit cheaper, but it's Adidas for the first time in like 15 years and it's the first time we've done a long sleeve in forever, so I had to splash. Fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, the thing with that shit is, like, it's worth whatever you think it's worth. Do you know what I mean? I've said this before. It's worth whatever you think it is. Whatever value it holds to you, then that's what it's worth. Do you know what I mean? Jesky, the first CD I ever bought was the Now That's What I Call Music, and it had Sum 41 on it. Fucking hell, I remember them CDs. We had loads of them in the house when I was a kid. Leeds J, I haven't got a fucking clue the first one I ever bought. I do remember the first two albums that were bought for me on cassette, though. What were they? I remember the first album I ever owned, and it was Michael Jackson's Thriller on a vinyl LP that my dad gave me, because he had like 2 copies of it. Because my dad used to do DJing, you know, for like weddings and parties and stuff like that in like the 80s and the early 90s. So he had like the most insane vinyl collection I've ever seen in my life. And I really liked that album when I was a kid. And he had 2 copies of it, so he gave me one of them. So that was the first album I ever owned, was Thriller vinyl. Wash, I was a huge new metal kid. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, POD. Loved Korn and Limp Bizkit. Loved Deftones as well. I like some songs of POD. I wouldn't say I'm a massive POD fan though, but the songs that I like, I really do like. Helly, the first CD I ever bought was probably some My Chemical Romance. First album I ever got gifted was Maroon 5. Bloody hell. Jesky, my sister had the MJ film on VHS and she scared me with Thriller. I had Thriller. I had Thriller, just Thriller on VHS. Well good. I used to watch it all the time. Gore Crusher, first CD I bought was System of a Down's self-titled album. I only like one System of a Down album, you know. Toxicity. That's the only one that I like. I don't like any of the other stuff that they put out. I don't know why. Just don't like it. It's just not me. Leeds J. Appetite for Destruction and No Prayer for the Dying by Iron Maiden. Drebbin. Family Values Tour 98 CD changed everything for myself. Fucking hell. What was Family Values now? It was Korn, Limp Bizkit. Who else was it? Was it like Snot or something? I don't know. I can't remember. I know it was Korn and Limp Bizkit. I'm sure there was someone else on it. Hey, Lamb. How you doing? First single I ever owned was the Cartoons Witch Doctor cassette. I know the witch doctor, tell me what to do. Boop, 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 boop. That one. Cecil, I have Toxicity on vinyl, never been that interested in any of the others. Yeah, that's the only one that I like. It's literally the only one that I like. Drebin, Rammstein and Incubus. It was Rammstein that I was thinking of. Fucking hell. Don't know why I thought Snot. It was around the same time as Snot, weren't it? Snow, I think the first album I bought was Blind Melon's self-titled. Leeds J, Slam King, how are you doing, dude? I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really good. Really, really good. I'm just knackered. I'm just knackered. Do you know what I mean? I was up all night. Couldn't sleep last night. Couldn't sleep at all last night. So I think I got off about 5 in the morning. And then, obviously, the kids are off school. So it's like, they get up at the crack of dawn. So, just a bit tired, that's all. It happens every now and again, though. I'll have like a bout of nights where I just can't sleep. At all. Do you know what I mean? You know, like when you're just thinking about loads of shit. And it's like, you're not like stressed or anything. But your mind's just like, blah, 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 like constantly. And you're just like, oh, shut up, man. I just want to go to sleep. That's what it was like last night. But other than that, I'm absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Cecil, the first album I ever bought was the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. Fucking hell. The Beatles are another one that like I struggled to get into. Like I'm just not like, I don't know. To be fair though, I've not listened to them for like a long time. So I mean, I'd probably appreciate them now. But when I was younger, I just could never get into them. I don't know why. I'll have to listen to them. Because I feel like I'd appreciate them a lot more now. Do you know what I mean? Leeds J, just can't shut your brain off. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just overdrive. Cecil, same. Sgt. Pepper's the only one I genuinely enjoy as a full album. Some of the singles do bang, though. Yeah, they've wrote some absolute classics, haven't they? I just could never... Like, I don't know why I just couldn't get into them. But I reckon my older brain now would appreciate them a lot more. Jeske, I don't like the Beatles because they annoy me. What are you talking about? They're like, isn't that like your national anthem, Jeske? The Beatles. They're like Scouse royalty. You have to like them. Isn't that like Liverpool law? Isn't that like the the credo of Merseyside? There's 2 things that you're supposed to love in Liverpool. The Liverbirds and the Beatles. And Craig Charles. Owen, first vinyl I bought was Kendrick Lamar's Damn on release. Fucking hell. That's the thing about vinyl though, innit? It went like completely out of fashion. Well, originally, it wasn't fashion, was it? It was like, it was necessity. You had vinyl and cassette, and that was the only way to fucking listen to music, to own music to listen to. And then obviously CDs came, and then MP3s. And now vinyl's come back, but vinyl's more like a collector's item now. Do you know what I mean? It's actually like a trend. Yo, Lamb! With the 6-month resub, massive love. Thank you so much, Lamb. Huge love. Huge love. Massive love. Thank you so much. What's that put us on? Oh, one more. One more until the next giveaway. One more until the next giveaway. See, my maths is getting quicker. My maths is actually getting quicker. Excellent. See, I'm learning. I'm evolving. It only took 38 years. Cheers for that resub, Lamb. Massively appreciate it. Drebin, tapes are huge with black metal collectors. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Tapes are massive in the black metal scene. It's very true, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Jeske, nah. Ask Jeske's fella on his opinion on the Beatles. Why? What's your beef with the Beatles, Jeske's fella? Did like one of your grandparents like have street beef with John Lennon back in the day, with Ringo Starr. It's always the quiet ones, isn't it? Said Thomas, laughing and tooting his train. Don't get me started. Oh, no, you've got to tell the story now. Why'd you hate Ringo Starr? What's your beef with him? Martin, how are you doing, mate? How's your day been? Helly, I've still got all my mum's old vinyl from when she was a teen. Loads of Bowie and Roxy music. Nice, nice. There was a vinyl that I always used to listen to that my dad, one of my dad's, and it was a Toya album. Don't know why. Toya and Kraftwerk I always used to listen to. And Duran Duran. I love Duran Duran still. And Tears for Fears, obviously. Fucking love Tears for Fears. Lamb, no worries. Eggy messed up my whole subscribing thing with his gifting a sub when I was waiting to use my Prime. No way. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Lamb. Thank you. Owen, yeah, in it. I'm so glad vinyl's back, to be honest. I like that big album artwork. Feel like it's a lot easier to appreciate on the scale of a foot than a CD cover. Yeah, that 100% that. The only problem with vinyl is, like, it's an arse ache to have a fucking vinyl player, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I couldn't have one in this house. My house isn't big enough. I'm not even joking. My house is literally not big enough. I couldn't have a vinyl player in here because they take up too much space. That's why me and my dad had to go around the house and mount every single fucking TV on the wall because my house is that small. So I'm afraid it's Spotify only for me, sadly. Jesky, I have a claim. My great auntie dated Paul McCartney, but my nan didn't like him, so chased him off. Oh, god damn. God damn. Bet she's gutted now. Been rolling in it. Jesky's felt, nah, I genuinely think the only one that was sound was George Harrison, and that's because he kept to himself. Yeah, probably. I mean, Ringo's alright, innit? He just likes Thomas the Tank Engine, doesn't he? Loves the fat controller. Martin, not bad, mate. Just in from work and didn't kill or even shout at anyone today. Well, that's a shame, innit? Nah, that's a good day, that's a good day. Owen, yeah, I need to get a new one. Mine's shagged. Jesky's fella, I appreciate what they did for music, but as people, absolute dog shit. Fair enough. Owen, I tell you what, though, my guilty pleasure is James Blunt's Back to Bedlam. Absolutely fantastic album. I like James Blunt. Is he the one who's like, you're beautiful, you're beautiful? That one. Is that James Blunt? I like him. He's quite funny on Twitter, isn't he? Owen, I'd hardly even call it a guilty pleasure. I fucking love that album. I have no guilty pleasures, you know. I feel no guilt over anything that I like. Because you like what you like. Fuck what other people think. Like, I don't give a shit. You're not making me feel guilty for liking something that I like. Kiss my ass. Jesky, yeah, she weren't my favourite great auntie when I found that out. Lamb every night goes to sleep calling the system all the bastards for making them lose a Beatles member. We could have had a Beatle. It is where I work. So no, I've never understood guilty pleasures. I'm happy with all the music. Exactly. Guilt implies that you feel ashamed of it. Fuck that. Don't be ashamed of the things you like. Because that just means that you're only ashamed because of what other people might think. Don't waste any time thinking about what other people might think about anything. Fuck them. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You're here for a finite amount of time. Don't waste it on worrying about what other people think. Fuck them. Do you know what I mean? Jesky's fella, he's got a seal of approval from Keith out of Prodigy. I don't mind a bit of James Blunt. Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, he did, didn't he? I've heard that story as well. Owen, I've got a Ken hoodie from the Barbie movie and I wear it with pride at work. Nice. Nice. Dude, look at the state of me. I'm sat here with wires and shit. A fucking pink hood on. And this, whatever the fuck this thing is. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a shit about what people think. Neither should you. Fuck them. Jessica, I love music. Doesn't matter what it is. I absolutely love it. I used to get shamed for my music taste now, but now I don't give a shit. That's the best way to be. Don't care. Stop caring. Just don't give a shit. Fuck them. Right off. Cecil, my actual guilty pleasure album is Drake's. If you're reading this, it's too late. More so because it's embarrassing to like anything Drake related at this point than the album itself. The album is great, but Drake. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Right. It is Big Nigel. He's mooching about, isn't he? He's mooching about.
Slam King, I think it is time to start the book.
Oh, right. Okay, then. All right. Fair enough. All right. Piss off, then. Fucking hell, Nige. You don't half mess around. Yeah, I have multiple Nigels. The other one's Derek. He doesn't talk much. He just fucks about. Right. According to Nigel, it's time to read the book. So we better get on to this book, haven't we? Right, where were we up to? So what happened last week? What happened last week? Do you remember? Oh! They went down to that weird, like, ship that was like a planet inside, and then killed those aliens, and killed that alien child, that psychic alien child. And the Sisters of Silence were there, weren't they? And they'd come for that, to kill that psychic, to get that psychic alien child's body. Yeah, the penis ship. The penis ship. Yeah, it was the penis ship. Right, okay. So that's where we were up to. So we're going to start chapter 3. So if you're following along at home, that's where we need to be. Chapter 3. Can't tell whether that's Nigel or Derek. I'm not sure which one it is. Whatever though, just leave him alone. Hey nurse, how you doing? Cats, no announcement on Discord. Oh, did it not? Did it not fucking Queechy bot, man? What a bag of shit. Owen, yes, the book did turn up. But when I was tidying up the other day, I put it on the shelf up there with my other books, and now there's a table and a desk in the way, and now I can't get to it. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's happened. So yeah, I do have the book, but I'm still gonna read it off this because the book's all the way up there. I can't get to it. So. Fucking amazing. Amazing work, as always. Jesus Christ. Get Nigel to get it for you. I can't get Nigel to get it for me. He's a lazy bastard, isn't he? You know what he's like. Fucking Nigel. Martin, professional as ever. I was tidying up. I thought I was doing a good thing. I was tidying up. Because he fucking won't, will he? Fucking Nigel, what are you fucking mooching about? Well, yeah, I thought I was doing a good thing. I was like, oh, just straighten up in here, I'll tidy it all up, make it all look nice and spacious as it can be. And then I put it away, and now it's up there. I can literally see it. I can literally see it. Oh, my God. Right, okay. Let's read this book. Let's start this book. All right, let's get a 2 on my... Nurse, Nigel does do fuck all around here. You know what I mean? At least someone sees it. Right, let's start. Flight of the Eisenstein, Chapter 3. Let me know if the music is okay. If the music's at a good level. Let me know if my microphone's alright. Just in case. Yo! Kelsey Oaks! With the 3-month resub. Massive love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Why's that? Hang on. That should be on 20 now, shouldn't it? There we go. Yo! That's a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway quick. Let's do a quick giveaway before we start the book. Alright. So, this is for... Oh, piss and shit. Just knocked a load of shit all over the place. This is for number 103. Slam King logo patch. You have to be... To enter, you have to be a subscriber on Twitch. And in the Twitch chat, all you've got to do is type !raffle now. You've got 5 minutes. And then we'll pick a winner. Ooh, pardon me. There we go. Get him in. Get him in. !raffle. Let's give a patch away before we start this fucking book. How many we got? How many we got? You got to be in it to win it, people. Where's Nigel? Kelsey Oak, surprised I made it to this live, working a 14-hour shift at the moment. Fucking hell. Well, I hope it goes quick for you. Jesus. That is a fucking long one. What do you do for work, Kelsey Oaks?
What is your profession? Queechlings! What is your profession? Oh!
Oh, Kelsey, enter the raffle. Enter the raffle if you haven't already. !raffle. Get it in there. Get involved. Win yourself a patch, potentially. Just type !raffle in the chat, like the chat messages before you. There you go, like that. Just like that. Just like that. There you go, you're in. You're in. You're in, you're in, you're in. Not you're in. I'm not saying you're in. You're in. You're in, you're in, you're in. Lovely stuff. I'm not Bear Grylls.
Imperial iterator, Bear Grylls. The heresy is upon us. Better drink my own piss.
That's what he'd be doing. He'd be Nurgle, wouldn't he? He'd be worshipping Nurgle. Bathing in piss. That's what he fucking loves, doesn't he? In it, like, you know how like Bear Grylls is always like, oh, drink your own piss. Squeeze piss out of this elephant shit and drink it. You know, he's always like that. I watched something, and there was like a real like survival expert, and was like, and he was just like, no, you definitely shouldn't do that. So Bear Grylls is just on worldwide television, just pissing into his own mouth for absolutely no reason. Fucking mental. Absolutely mental. I think that's a fetish, that. I think he just wanted to do that. That's how he gets off. He's just like, look at all these millions of people watching me drink my own piss, and there's nothing they can do about it. Jesky, it's not good to drink your own piss. It's a waste product and literally does nothing to you. That's what the expert that I was watching. Well, I say expert. It was on YouTube, so take that what you will. Like, but he said the exact same thing. He was like, that will do absolutely nothing for you. And when he was squeezing water or piss out of elephant shit, and he was just like, there's no way that there'd ever be that much water in elephant shit. Snowy might be thinking of the one person who actually listened to his advice. I just need some of this elephant shit water. Yeah, he definitely soaked that elephant shit in water first. Because the person that I was watching, basically it was a video just debunking like all of Bear Grylls' bullshit. Or elephant shit, as it were. And this guy was like, there's no way that there'd ever be that much water in an elephant shit. Like, so he's definitely like, just dipped elephant shit in water and then been like, yeah, oh yeah. Some of that elephant shit water. That'll save me when you're in the desert. Oh. The entries have stopped for the giveaway. The giveaway is now closed. So we'll wait for Nigel to arrive. Oh, here he comes. You're right, Nige. We need you to do the honors, mate. Oh, shit. Oh, he's fucking gone. He's fucking gone. Nigel, come back. He's fucking teleporting all over the place. Nigel. Snow, always remember to keep an elephant shit on standby for water. Owen, you seen that one where there's a clip of him claiming to be stranded in the middle of nowhere? Then someone goes to the same place, and it's like 50 meters away from a big motorway. Yeah. Fucking hell. Where's Nigel gone, man? Oh. My ass is getting sore now. Oh, here he comes. Come on, you knobhead. Here he comes. Yeah, just take your sweet time, Nige. Just take your sweet time. Right, give us a winner, Nige. Nigel.
Nigel, initiating patch giveaway
You
winner.
just fucked off.
Now.
Leeds J! Leeds J, you've won! Well done! Massive congrats, Leeds J! Let's get some Steagles in the chat. Do you know what we need? I think we need a Nigel emote. That's what we'll do. We'll do a Nigel emote. That can be a small part of the if we go beyond this month's sub goal, we'll do a Nigel emote. We'll get a Nigel emote. Leeds J, send me a message. You have won 103. Send me a direct message on Discord. With 103 on it. Congratulations, Leeds J. Finally won something. Big congratulations to Leeds J. Massive love, dude. That was 103. Send me a message on Discord and I'll get you details. Kelsey Oaks, are you getting Bad Omens tickets for Manchester? We were gonna because the Slam Queen really likes them, but we'll just see how much they are. I'm not sure how much they are yet, but we'll see. Because they're playing at the arena, and if it's absolutely like bullshit, then no, we won't go. If it's too expensive. Beardy, who the fuck is Nigel? You don't know who Nigel is? Why don't you know who Nigel is? There's Nigel. Nigel, introduce yourself, mate. Beardy doesn't know you.
Greetings, dear Queechlings. I am Imperial Servo Skull Unit, Nigel. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
There we go, now you know. Fucking hell. That's Nigel, everybody.
Slanking, I think it is time to start the book.
Alright, fucking hell, Nigel. Jesus Christ. You just calm down. He gets like this, Beardy. He does get like this. He's quite demanding. He's quite demanding sometimes. Do you know what I mean? For someone with no fucking arms.
That is very funny.
Alright. Fuck you, Nigel. Right, I'll start the book. Jesus Christ. Think standing tickets are 62 each. Is that including booking fee? Beardy, Jace, I got Knott's tickets and they were about 60 for standing. Ah, right, okay. Cats. Jason, by the way, I don't know why it threw me off, but you write the number 1 the European way. Oh, right, what's the European one? You write the number 1 the way that confuses 80% of UK folk. Are you talking about what's written on the back of the patch? I didn't write that. That was written by Nasty Patches, who manufactured the patches. They're a company in Czech, so that'll be why. Because sometimes I look at it and I'm like, is that 7? Beardy, I already love Nigel. When is Nigel merch coming? Oh, fucking hell. Everybody loves Nigel. Oh, Nigel this. Nigel that. Fucking hell. Fucking Nigel. He does fuck all. I'll have you know that, yeah? Oh, hang on. Shut up. He's coming past. Shit. It's alright, Nigel. You're alright, mate. Leeds J, I'll DM you after the stream. Okay, alright. Beardy, Nigel emote when? Well, that's what I was just saying. I was saying if we surpass the initial sub goal for this month, we can do a secondary sub goal and we'll get a Nigel emote. Kelsey Oaks, I don't even know who the fuck Nigel is. Is he in chat? You don't know who Nigel is? Nigel, you better come and introduce yourself again, dude. Now Kelsey doesn't know who you are now. Nurse Nigel does fuck all around here. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Scared the shit out of me then. He teleports every now and again as well. Cats, you're going to fire Nigel just out of jealousy about how much attention. Jealous guess. He does get a lot of attention.
Greetings, dear Queechlings. I am Imperial Servo Skull Unit, Nigel. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Alright, there we go. That's Nigel.
Slanking, I think it is time to start the book.
I fucking know, dude. I know, dude. Fuck me. Just relax yourself. Go and do something. Organise a book. Light a candle. Fucking hell. Right, okay, let's jump into this book. Right, guys, we're on chapter 3 of Flight of the Eisenstein. Let's get into it. Before Nigel starts kicking off again, fucking hell. Rename Queechybot to Nigel. I could look into that, see if it's possible. Beardy. Anyway, gotta go, but have a good one, everybody. Nigel for new Queechybot. I'll see if I can change the name. I'm not sure if I can, but I'll have a look. Cat. Nigel is the real Primarch. It's too much fucking too much Nigel love going on here. You're all obsessed. Right. Get comfy. Let's get comfy, everybody. Chapter 3. Area Gloris. A poisoned chalice. Put to the question. In the ruins of their enemy, the Death Guard task force regrouped and surveyed the breadth of destruction they have wrought. The wreckage of the Jorgali picket fleet was a cloud of crystallized breathing gases, hull fragments, and the dead. Some of the teardrop-shaped Xenos vessels were still relatively intact. One by one, these were being scuttled with atomic charges, reduced to sun-hot balls of radioactive plasma. In less than a standard Terran day, there would be nothing recognizable left to show the face of an enemy that the Death Guard had obliterated so utterly. Out there, in the shoal of destruction, stormbirds on funerary details scoured the engagement area for Astartes who had been blown into the dark during the boarding operations. Those found would be interred as heroes once the progenoid glands in their corpses had been harvested. The precious flesh matter from the dead would serve the Legion in their stead, passing on to strengthen new initiates when the next round of recruitment began. Once in a while, a lucky find would bring the recovery crew's alive battle brother, dormant inside his armor beneath the lulling pressure of his Susan membranes. But that happened very rarely. Beyond the zone, where the Death Guard fleet gathered like carrion birds around a corpse, the Jorgal bottle was executing a slow, wounded turn to sight down into the ecliptic plane of the Iota Horologi system. Drifts of wreckage and broken panels from the construct's vast solar panels floated behind it in a faint cometary tail. The main drives blinked out of sequence as the fusion motors worked the colossal mass of the world ship about. Dissenting voices from the Mechanicum contingent aboard the warship Spectre of Death had petitioned Mortarion for a few days in which to loot the alien craft of technology. The Primarch, as was his prerogative, refused the request. The letter of Lord Malcador's orders, and therefore, by extension, those of the Emperor himself, was that the Jorgal incursion into the sector was to be exterminated. The Master of the Death Guard clearly saw no point of confusion in those orders. There was to be nothing left of the aliens. And yet, Nathaniel Garrow watched the play and turn of the fleet from the gallery above the Endurance's main launch bay. Above him, a span of thick armored glass and space beyond it. Below, through skeletal brass flames and grid-cut decking, the expanse of the flight platform. Gradually, his gaze dropped. Down amongst the sleek Stormbirds and heavy Thunderhawks was a single swan-like shuttlecraft, the spread wings of the ship detailed in gold and black. It stood out among the white and grey Astartes craft, a single bright game fowl nestled in a flock of pale raptors. Aboard that vessel,
A sole tangible remnant of the assault would remain after all the works of the Jorgal were erased from this sector of space. He found himself wondering what other orders the Sisters of Silence had. Orders that were unbound, even in the face of a Primarch's countermand. It was not defiance on their part to go against Mortarian's wishes, if it was the Emperor's will to do otherwise, surely. This was not disobedience. This was a trivial issue, a small thing of little consequence. Garrow had never known of and could barely envisage an instance where the commands of the Primarch and Emperor would not be in harmony. An oiled hiss signaled the opening of the gallery's hatch, and Garrow looked to see who had come to interrupt his customary moment of solitude after the battle. A small smile curled at his lips as two figures entered the echoing, empty colonnade. He gave a shallow bow as Amandera Kendall approached him, a younger woman in a less ornate version of a witch-seeker's robes walking at her heels. Kendall looked to Garrow as he assumed he must have looked to her, fresh from the battlefield, fatigued but content that the fight had gone well. "Sister," said Garrow, "I trust the outcome this day was satisfactory to you."
The woman signed a few words, and the girl at her side spoke.
"Battle Captain Garrow, well met. The goals of the Imperium have been ably served."
Nathaniel raised an eyebrow and looked directly at the girl. He saw her more clearly now, noting that she had no armor or visible weapons as Kendall did.
"Forgive me, but it was my understanding that the Sisters of Silence are never to speak."
The girl nodded, her manner changing slightly as she answered.
"That is indeed so, Lord. No sister may utter a word unto death, once she gives the oath of tranquility. I am a novice, Captain. I have yet to take the vow, and so I may speak to you. Sisters in waiting such as I serve our order when communication is needed with outsiders."
"Indeed,"
Garrow nodded.
"Then may I ask your mistress what she wishes of me?"
Kendall gestured again, and the novice translated, her voice taking on a formal tone once more. "I wished to speak with you before we departed the Endurance, on the matters to which you and your men were party aboard the Jorgal cylinder. It is the Emperor's wish that they not be spoken of." The captain absorbed this. Of course, why else had Kendall killed the alien psycho with a shot to the chest instead of a round through the skull? To preserve whatever secrets it held inside that misshapen head. He nodded to himself. The Lord of Man's great works into the understanding of the ethereal realms were beyond his grasp as a mere captain, and if the Emperor required the corpse of a dead Xenos mutant to further that understanding, then Nathaniel Garrow had no place to contradict it.
"I shall make it so. The Emperor has his tasks and we have ours. My men would never question that."
The silent sister came a little closer and watched him carefully. She signed something to the novice, and the girl hesitated, questioning her mistress in return before relaying the words.
"Sister Amandera asks. She wishes to know if the child spoke to you."
"He had no mouth,"
Garrow answered, quicker than he intended to. Kendall placed a finger on her lips and shook her head. Then she moved the finger to her temple. Nathaniel looked at his hands. There were still flecks of alien blood on them.
"I'm clean of any taint,"
he insisted.
"The thing did not contaminate me."
"Did it speak to you?"
repeated the novice. The moment became long before he spoke.
"He knew what I was, Said it could see tomorrow. Told me all I worship would die.
Garrow sneered.
But I am an Astartes. I worship nothing. I honor no false god, only the reality of Imperial truth.
His answer seemed to appease Sister Amandera, and she inclined her head in a bow.
Your fealty, like that of all Death Guard, has never been in doubt, Captain. Thank you for your honesty, relayed the novice. It is clear the creature was attempting to cloud your intention. You did well to resist it.
The Oblivion Knight made the sign of the Aquila and bowed. The girl mirrored Kendall's gesture.
My mistress wishes you and your company to accept the commendation and gratitude of the Sisters of Silence. Your names will be presented to the Sigillite in recognition of your service to Terra.
You honor us,
Garrow replied.
If I might ask, what was the fate of your comrade? The Null Maiden who was unhooded in the fighting?
The novice nodded.
Ah, Sister Thessaly, yes. Her injuries were serious, but she will recover. Our Medicae above the Aria Gloris will heal her in due course. I understand your brother Voyan saved her life.
Aria Gloris,
repeated Garrow.
I do not know that vessel. Is it part of our flotilla?
A smile crossed Kendall's lips, and she signed to the novice.
No, Captain. It is part of mine. See for yourself.
The woman pointed out through the glass dome, and Garrow followed her direction. A piece of the void moved slowly across the prow of Endurance, passing between the bow of the warship and the distant glow of the Eotan sun. Whereas conventional vessels of the Imperial fleets ran with pennants and signal lamps to illuminate the lengths of their hulls, this new arrival, this Aria Gloris, came in darkness, arriving out of the interstellar deeps as an ocean predator might slip to the surface of a nighttime sea. Garrow had never laid eyes on a black ship before. These were the mothercraft of the Silent Sisterhood, carrying them back and forth across the galactic disk on the Emperor's witch-hunting missions. It was hard to make out anything more than the most basic details of the ship's design, framed against the solar glow of Iota Horologi. The battlecruiser was at least a match in size for the Death Guard capital ship, Indomitable Will. It lacked the traditional plow-blade prow of most Imperial vessels, ending instead in a blunt bow. A single, knife-edged sail hung below the stern, and on it was an Aquila cut from shimmering volcanic glass, where Endurance and the ships of the Astartes flotilla were swords against the enemies of Terra. Aria Gloris was a hammer of witches.
Impressive,
rumbled Garrow. There was little else he could say. He found himself wondering what it would be like to wander the decks of the vessel, at once attracted and repelled by the idea of what secrets the craft must hide. Sister Amandera bowed again and nodded to her novice.
We take our leave of you, honored captain, said the girl. We are to make space for Luna by day's end, and the warp grows turbulent.
Safe journey, sisters,
he offered, unable to tear his gaze from the dark starship. Oh, shit. Caleb guided the cart across the length of the armory chamber, taking care to stay to the outer walkway around the edges of the long hall. His master's bolter lay across the trolley,
the weapon's usually flawless finish marred by lines of damage from the engagement on the Jorgal world ship. As Garrow's housecarl, it was Caleb's duty to see the gun to the arming servitors and ensure that the weapon was returned to its full glory as quickly as possible. He intended not to disappoint his captain. He passed knots of Death Guard as they debriefed and disarmed, men from Tamita's company in animated conversation about a thorny moment during the boarding of a Xenos destroyer, and Astartes of Typhon's first in bellicose humor. Across the chamber, he spied Hakur talking with Decius, as the younger man relayed a moment from the battle with an enthusiasm that the dour veteran clearly did not share. The men of the 14th Legion were not given to raucous celebration in their victories. Such displays, Caleb had heard it said, were more in the character of the Space Wolves or the World Eaters. But they did, in their own fashion, salute their successes and give honor to those who fell along the way. The Death Guard cultivated an image that other legions were only too quick to accept, that they were brutal, ruthless, and hard-hearted. But the reality had more shades to it than that. That these Astartes rarely made sport of their warfare was true, but they were not so bleak and stern as some would have believed. Compared to the stories Caleb had heard of stoic and dispassionate legions like the Ultramarines or the Imperial Fists, the Death Guard could almost be considered willful and disorderly. Rounding a stanchion, the housecarl's train of thought stalled at the sound of harsh laughter from a figure before him. He hesitated. Commander Grulgor stood in his path, speaking in muted, amused tones to an Astartes from his second company. The two men clasped gauntlets in a firm, serious handshake, and in spite of the dimness of the ill-lit walkway, Caleb was still able to make out the shape of a disc-shaped brass token held in Grulgor's fingers before he passed it into the other man's grip. He understood immediately that he had intruded on a private moment, something only Astartes should share, something that a mere serf like him was not to be privy to. There was nowhere Caleb could hide, and if he turned around, the clatter of the cart's wheels would reveal him. In spite of himself, he coughed. It was a very small sound, but it brought with it a sudden silence as the commander broke off and noticed the housecarl for the first time. Caleb was looking directly at the decking, and did not see the expression of complete contempt Grulgor turned upon him.
"Garrow's little helot," said the commander. "Are you listening where you should not?"
He took a step towards the housecarl, and against his will, Caleb shrank back. Grulgor's voice took on the tone of a teacher lecturing a student, making a lesson of him.
"Do you know what this is, Brother Mokir?"
The other Astartes examined Caleb coldly.
"It's not a servitor, Commander. Not enough steel and pistons for that. He resembles a man."
Grulgor shook his head.
"No, not a man, but a housecarl."
The emphasis he put on the title was scornful.
"A sad bit of trivia. A dusty practice from the ancient days."
The commander spread his hands.
"Look on, Mokir. Look at her failure."
Caleb found his voice.
"Lord, if it pleases you, I have duties to perform."
He was ignored.
"Before our Primarch brought new, strong blood to our legion, there were many rituals and habits that knotted around the Astartes.
Most have been cut away.
Grulgor's face soured.
Some still remain, thanks to the dogged adherence of men who should know better.
Mokir nodded.
Captain Garrow. Yeah. Garrow.
Grulgor was dismissive.
He allows sentiment to cloud his judgment. Oh, he's a fine warrior, I'll give him that. But our brother Nathaniel, he's old in his ways, too bound by his Terran roots.
The Astartes leaned closer to Caleb, his voice dropping.
Or am I incorrect in my judgment? Perhaps Garrow keeps you around him, not out of some misplaced sense of tradition, but as a reminder, a living example of what it means to fail the Legion.
Please, said the serf, his knuckles white around the handles of the cart.
I do not understand,
said Mokir, genuinely confounded.
How is this Elot a failure?
Grulgor said, looking away.
But for a turn of fate, this wastrel might have walked among the Legiones Astartes. He could have stood where you do now, brother, wearing the white, bearing arms for the Imperium. Our friend here was once an aspirant to the 14th Legion, as were we all. Only he fell short of greatness during the trials of acceptance. Damned by his own weakness.
The commander tapped his chin thoughtfully.
Tell me, serf, where did your will break? Crossing the Black Plains? Was it in the Tunnel of the Venoms?
Caleb's voice was a whisper.
The Thorn Garden, Lord.
The hateful old memory emerged, fresh and undimmed, despite the span of years since the event. The housecarl winced as he recalled the stabbing, poisonous barbs on his bare skin, his blood running in streaks all across his body. He remembered the pain, and worse, the shame, as his legs turned to water beneath him. He remembered falling into the thick, drab mud, lying there, weeping, knowing that he had lost forever the chance to become a death guard.
The Thorn Garden, of course.
Grulgor tapped his fingers on his vambrace.
So many have bled out their last in that ordeal. You did well to survive that far.
Mokir raised an eyebrow.
Sir, do you mean to say that this man was an aspirant? Will those who fail the trials perish? Most do, corrected the commander. Most of them die of the wounds they suffer, or the poisons they cannot resist during the 7 days of trial. But there are some few who fail but live on still, and even they will largely choose the Emperor's peace over a return in dishonor to their clans.
He gave Caleb a cool stare.
But not all. Some lack the strength of will, even for that honor.
Grulgor looked back at Mokir and sniffed archly.
Some legions make use of their throwbacks, but it is not the Death Guard way. Still, Garrow chose to invoke an aged right to save this wretch from the pit of his own inadequacy. You rescued him.
Grulgor snorted.
How noble.
Caleb found a spark of defiance.
It is my privilege to serve,
he said.
Is it?
Growled the Astartes.
You dare to parade your own deficiencies around us, the chosen men of Mortarion. You are an insult. You ape us, hang upon the tails of our cloaks while we fight for the future of our species, polishing guns and pretending you're worthy to be in our company.
He pressed Caleb's cart towards the wall.
You skulk in the shadows, you Garrow's petty spy. You are nothing!
Grulgor's annoyance flared in his eyes.
If I were captain of the First, the pointless ritual that granted your existence would be ended in a second.
So then, said another voice, is the commander of the Second dissatisfied with his honoured role?
Apothecary Voyen.
Grulgor greeted the new arrival with a wary nod.
Sadly, there are many things that I find myself dissatisfied with.
He stepped away from the trembling housecarl.
Life is always a challenge in that regard,
Voyen said with forced lightness, throwing Caleb a sideways look.
Indeed,
said the commander.
Is there something you wanted, brother?
Only an explanation as to why you saw fit to waylay my captain's equerry during the course of his duties. The battle captain will be returning shortly, and he will wish to know why his orders have not been carried out. Caleb clearly saw a nerve twitch in Grulgor's jaw in reaction to the temerity of Voyen's reply, and for a moment he expected the senior Astartes to bark out an angry retort to the junior apothecary. But then the instant was gone, as some moment of understanding he was not a party to passed between them. With exaggerated care, Grulgor stepped out of Caleb's path.
The Helot may go about his business,
he said, and with that the commander dismissed them both and strode away with Mokir at his side. Caleb watched them go, and once again saw the glitter of the strange brass token as the Astartes tucked the coin-like object into an ammunition pouch on his belt. He sucked in a shaky breath and bowed to Voyen.
Thank you, Lord. I must confess, I do not understand why the commander detests me so.
Voyen walked with him as the housecarl continued on his way.
Ignatius Grulgor hates everything with equal measure, Caleb.
You shouldn't take it personally.
Yeah, the things he says. Sometimes those thoughts are mine as well.
Really? Answer me this, then. Do you think that Captain Garrow, the leader of the 7th Great Company, considers you an insult? Would a man of honour like him even contemplate such a thing?
Caleb shook his head. Voyen placed his huge hand on the housecarl's shoulder. You will never be one of us. That is true. But you still serve the Legion despite that.
But Grulgor was right,
Caleb mumbled.
At times I am a spy. I go about the ship invisible in plain sight, and I see and I hear. I keep my Lord Captain conversant with the mood of the Legion.
The apothecary's expression remained neutral.
A good commander should always be well informed. This is not plotting and scheming of which we speak.
It's merely the report of talk and temper. You should feel no conflict in this. They arrived at the arsenal dais, where the armament servitors were waiting, and the housecarl presented them with the captain's bolter. Caleb felt a churn of tension coming loose inside him, the need to speak pressing on his lips. Voyen seemed to sense it too, and guided him to an isolated corner near a viewport.
It's more than that. I've seen things. Caleb's words were hushed and secretive. Sometimes, in quarters of the ships, where the crewmen do not often venture. Hooded gatherings, Lord. Clandestine meetings of what can only be your battle brothers.
Voyan was very still. You speak of the lodges, yes? Caleb was taken aback to hear the apothecary talk openly to him of such things. The quiet orders of men inside the Legiones Astartes were not something that was common knowledge to the outside world, and certainly they were things that a man such as Caleb should not have been aware of.
I have heard that name whispered.
The housecarl rubbed his hands together. The palms were sweaty. Something in the back of his mind urged him to say no more, but he just couldn't help himself. He wanted to get the words out, to be free of them.
Just now, I saw the commander give a medallion to Brother Mokay. I've seen one before among the personal effects of the late Sergeant Raffin, after his death at the Carina Moons.
Caleb licked his lips.
A brass disc, embossed with the skull and star of our Legion, Lord.
What do you think it is?
A badge, sir? Token of membership for these surreptitious groupings?
The Astartes gave him a level, unmoving stare. You were afraid that these meetings might threaten the Death Guard's unity. Is that it? That sedition may be at their core.
How could they not? Hissed Caleb. Secrecy is the enemy of truth. Truth is what the Emperor and his warriors stand for. If men must gather in shadows...
He broke off, blinking. Voyan managed a small smile. Caleb, you respect Captain Garrow. We all comprehend the might of our Primarch. Do you think such great men would stand idly by and let subversion take root in their midst? The apothecary put his hand on the housecarl's shoulder again, and Caleb felt the smallest amount of pressure. He became aware of the mass and strength of the warrior's ceramite glove, enveloping his flesh and bone. What you have seen in sideways glances and overheard rumours is nothing that should concern you, and is certainly not a matter with which to distract the battle captain. Trust me when I tell you this.
But,
Caleb said, his throat becoming dry.
But how can you know that?
The smile faded from Voyan's lips. I can't say. In his informal robes, Nathaniel Garrow still cut an impressive figure, even among his own men who had yet to divest themselves of their battle armour. At the far end of the wide armoury chamber, in the section of the long iron hall that was the province of the 7th Company, he moved through the Astartes and spoke with each one, sharing a nod or a grin with those in good humour, sparing a solemn commiseration for those who had lost a close comrade in the engagement with the Jorgal. He singled out Decius for mild chastisement when the younger Astartes sat at work on his power fist, cleaning the oversized gauntlet with a thick cloth. Our tactical approach at the Bottle World was not meant for one of close combat, Solon, he noted. You carry a bolter for good reason. If it pleases me, Captain, I've heard this lecture already today from Brother Sendek. He informed me at great length and in intricate detail of exactly how I had failed to adhere to the rules of engagement. I see. Garrow took a seat on the bench next to Decius. And what was your response? The young warrior smiled. Well, I told him that we were both still alive, rules or no, and that victory is the only true measure of success.
Indeed.
Of course. Decius worked at the power fist with great care. What matters in war, above all other things, is the final result. If there's no victory, he broke off, finding his words, then there's no point. From nearby, Anders Hacker rubbed a hand over his stubbly grey chin.
Such tactical genius from the mouth of a whelp. I fear I may become giddy with surprise.
Decius's eyes flashed at the old veteran's jibe, but Garrow caught the moment and laughed softly, diffusing it.
You must forgive Anders Solon. At his age, his sharp tongue is the only blade he can wield with any skill anymore.
Hacker clutched at his chest in mock pain.
Oh, and I know to my heart from your own captain, such tragedy.
Garrow maintained an even smile, but in truth, he could detect the weariness, the pain in his old friend's forced jocularity. Hacker had lost men from his squad on the world ship, and the pain of it was just below the surface.
We all fought well this day,
said the captain, the words coming of their own accord.
Once more the Death Guard have been the tools that carve the Emperor's will into the galaxy.
None of the other Astartes spoke. Each of them had fallen silent, faces turned over Garrow's shoulder. As he cast around to learn why, as one, the men of the 7th Company came to their knees.
My battle captain.
It perturbed Garrow to realize that he had not even heard the approach of his Primarch. As in the assembly hall before the assault, Mortarion made issue of his presence only when it suited him to do so. Garrow bowed low to the master of the Death Guard, dimly aware of Typhon at his lord's side, and a servitor lurking behind the first captain's cloak.
My lord,
he replied. Mortarion's face shifted in a cool smile, visible even behind the breath collar around his throat and lips.
The sisterhood has taken leave of us. They spoke highly of the 7th.
Garrow dared to raise his gaze a little. Like him, the Primarch was no longer clad in his brass and steel power armor, but instead in common duty robes over a set of more utilitarian gear. Still, even in such simple garb, there was no mistaking his presence. High and gaunt, a man spun from whipcord steel muscle, he was as tall in his deck boots as Typhon was in the 1st Company's Terminator armor. And of course, there was the Man Reaper, sheathed across his back, the arc of the heavy black blade curved behind his head in a lightless sweep.
Stand, Nathaniel, please. It becomes tiresome to look down upon my men.
Garrow drew himself up to his full height, looking into the Primarch's deep amber eyes and steeling himself not to draw back. In turn, Mortarion's gaze burned deep into him, and the captain felt as if his heart were being held in the Primarch's long, slender fingers, being weighed and considered.
You ought to watch your step, Typhon,
said the Death Lord.
This one, you'll have your job one day.
Typhon, ever sullen, only grimaced. Before the first captain, the Primarch, and at the edges of his sight, the twin guards of the Death Shroud. Garrow felt as if he was at the bottom of a well. The nerve of a common man would probably have broken beneath such scrutiny.
Lord,
He asked.
what service may the 7th Company do for you?
Mortarion beckoned him.
Their captain may step forward, Garrow. He has earned a reward.
Nathaniel did as he was told, darting a quick look towards Hakur. His words at the lakeside echoed in his mind. We don't seek accolades and honours. Garrow had no doubt that the veteran was keenly amused by this turn of events.
Sir,
He began.
I deserve no special. That is not a refusal forming upon your lips, is it, Captain?
Warned Typhon.
Such false modesty is unwelcome. I am merely a servant of the Emperor,
Garrow managed.
That is honour enough.
Mortarion gestured the servitor forward, and the captain saw that it carried a tray of goblets and bowls.
Then instead, Nathaniel, might you offer me by sharing my drink?
He stiffened, recognizing the ornate cups and the liquid in them.
Of course, Lord.
It was said that there was no toxin too strong, no poison so powerful, and no contagion of such lethality that a Death Guard could not resist it. From their inception, the 14th Legion had always been the Emperor's warriors in the most hostile of environments, fighting through chemclouds or acidic atmospheres that no normal human could survive in. Barbarus, the Legion's base, the adoptive home planet of Mortarion himself, moulded this characteristic. As with their Primarch, so with his Astartes. The Death Guard were a resilient, invincible breed. They hardened themselves through stringent training regimens as neophyte Astartes, willingly exposing themselves to chemical agents, contaminants, mortal viral strains, and venoms of 1,000 different shades. They could resist them all. It was how they had found victory amid the blight funguses of Ursa. How they had weathered the hornet swarms on Ogre 4. The reason why they had been sent to fight the chlorine-breathing Jorgal. The servitor deftly mixed and poured dark liquids into the cups, and Garrow's nostrils sensed the odour of chemicals, a distillate of the agent magenta nervebane, some variety of sword beetle venom, and other, less identifiable compounds. No Astartes in Mortarion's service would have ever dared to call this practice a ritual. The word conjured up thoughts of primitive idolatry, anathema to the clean, impious logic of the Imperial truth. This was simply their way. A Death Guard tradition that had survived despite the intentions of men like Ignatius Grulgor. The cups were Mortarion's, and in each battle where the Death Lord took the field in person, he would select a warrior in the aftermath and share with that man a draught of poison. They would drink, and they would live, cementing the unbreakable strength of the Legion they embodied. The servitor presented the tray to the Primarch, and he took a cup for himself, and then handed one to Garrow, and a third to Typhon. Mortarion raised his goblet in salute.
Against death.
With a smooth tip of his wrist, the Primarch drained the cup to its dregs. Typhon showed a feral half-smile and did the same, completing the toast and drinking deep. Garrow saw a flush of crimson on the first captain's face, but Typhon gave no other outward sign of distress. He sniffed at the liquid before him and his senses resisted, his implanted neuroglottis and preomnar organs rebelling at the mere smell of the poisonous brew. But to refuse the cup would be seen as weakness, and Nathaniel Garrow would never allow himself to be accused of such a thing.
"Against death,"
he said. With a steady motion, the captain drank it all, and placed the upturned goblet back on the tray. A ripple of approval drifted through the men of the 7th Company, but Garrow barely heard it. His blood was rumbling in his ears as a punishing heat seared his throat and gullet, the powerful engines of his Astartes physiology racing to fight down the toxins he had ingested. Decius was watching him in awe, without doubt dreaming of a day when it might be his hand, not Garrow's, holding the goblet. Mortarian's chill smile grew wider.
"A rare and fine vintage. Would you not agree?"
His chest on fire, Garrow couldn't speak, so he nodded. The Primarch laughed in a low chug of amusement. Mortarian's cup could have contained water for all the apparent effect it had upon him. He placed his hand on the battle captain's back.
"Come, Nathaniel. Let's walk it off."
As they came to the ramp that led to the balcony above the Grand Armory chamber, Typhon bowed to his liege lord and made his excuses, walking away to the alcoves where Commander Grulgor and the 2nd Company made their station. Garrow cast back to see the death shroud following them in lockstep, moving with such flawless precision that they appeared to be automata and not actually men.
"Don't worry, Nathaniel,"
said Mortarion.
"I have no plans to replace my guardians just yet. I'm not about to recruit you into the secret dead." "As you wish, Lord,"
Garrow replied, getting the use of his throat back.
"I know you frown on such things as the cups, but you must understand that honors and citations are sometimes necessary."
He nodded to himself.
"Warriors must know that they are valued. Praise from one's peers must be given when the moment is right. Without it, even the most steadfast man will eventually feel unvalued."
There was an edge of melancholy that flickered through the Primarch's voice so quickly that Garrow decided he had imagined it. Mortarion brought them to the edge of the balcony, and they looked down at the large assemblage of men. Although Endurance was not large enough to hold the entire Legion, many of the Death Guard's 7 companies were represented below, in whole or in part. Garrow caught sight of Ulis Tamita, and his comrade threw him a salute. Garrow nodded back.
"You are a respected man, Nathaniel,"
said the Primarch.
"There's not a captain in the whole of the Legion who would not acknowledge your combat prowess."
He smiled slightly again.
"Even Commander Grulgor, although he may hate to admit it." "Thank you, Lord." "And the men trust you. They look to you for strength of character, for leadership, and you give it." "I only do what the Emperor commands of me, sir."
Garrow shifted uncomfortably. As honored as he was to have a private moment with his master, it troubled him in equal measure. This was not the direct, clear arena of warfare where Garrow understood what was expected of him. He was in rarefied air here, loitering with the son of the Emperor himself. If Mortarion sensed this, he gave no sign.
It is important to me to have a unity of purpose within my legion, just as it is important for my brother, Horus, to have unity across the entirety of the Astartes. The War Master,
breathed Garrow. There had been rumors aboard the Endurance for some time that elements of the Death Guard's flotilla would be sent on a new task after Jorgal interception. At the forefront of this talk was the possibility that they would join the 63rd Expeditionary Fleet of the Great Crusade, commanded by none other than the chosen son of the Emperor himself, Horus, the War Master. It was clearly more than rumor, he now realized. Garrow had fought side by side with warriors of Horus's 16th Legion in the past, and had only admiration for men like Malagurst, Garviel Loken, and Tarik Torgaden.
I have served with the Lunar Wolves in the past, Lord. They are the sons of Horus now,
Mortarion corrected gently.
Just as the Death Guard were once the Dusk Raiders. My brother expects great things of our Legion, Captain. A battle is coming that will test all of us. From the War Master to your lowly housecarl. I will be ready.
The Primarch nodded.
I have no doubt of that. But it is not enough to be ready, Nathaniel.
His fingers knitted together over the iron balustrade.
The Death Guard must be of one mind. We must have singular purpose, or we will falter.
Garrow's discomfort deepened, and he wondered if the after effects of the cup's contents were not still upon him.
I'm not sure I understand you, Lord. Our men find solace in the lines of command with their superiors and inferiors. But it is important that they also have a place in which the barriers created by rank can be ignored. They must have a freedom to speak and think unfettered.
All at once, the insight Garrow had been lacking came to him in a cold rush.
My lord refers to the lodges. I have been told that you have always eschewed membership. Why, Nathaniel?
Garrow stared at the deck plates.
Am I being ordered to join, Lord? I can no more command the workings of the lodge than I can the motion of the stars,
Mortarion said easily.
No, Captain. I do not order you. I only ask why. Illuminate me.
It was a long moment before he spoke again.
We are Astartes, sir, set on our path by the Master of Mankind, tasked to regather the lost fragments of humanity to the fold of the Imperium, to illuminate the lost, castigate the fallen and the invader. We can only do so if we have truth on our side. If we do it in the open, under the harsh light of the universe, then I have no doubt that we will eventually expunge the fallacies of gods and deities. But we cannot bring the secular truth to bear if any of it is hidden, even the smallest part. Only the Emperor can show the way forward.
He took a shuddering breath, intently aware of the Primarch's unblinking stare upon him.
These lodges, though they have their worth, they're predicated on the act of concealment, and I will have no part of that.
Mortarion accepted this with a careful nod.
What of your battle brothers who feel differently? That is their choice, Lord. I have no right to make it for them.
The Primarch drew himself up once more.
Thank you for your candor, Battle Captain. I expected nothing less. I have one more request of you, Nathaniel. And this, I'm afraid, is indeed an order. Sir?
Garrow felt an odd flutter in his chest.
Once we are done here, this fleet will make space for the Istvan system to rendezvous with the War Master's command ship, the Vengeful Spirit. Horus will be holding a war council with representatives of the World Eaters and the Emperor's children, and I will have need of an equerry to join me there. First Captain Typhon will be engaged in other duties, so I have chosen you to accompany my party.
Garrow was speechless. To extend such a privilege to a battle captain was unprecedented, and the thought of it made his chest tighten. To stand in Mortarion's presence was heady enough, but to be close at hand before an assembly of the Emperor's sons, led by the War Master, it would be glorious. That's the end of chapter 3. So I'll go for a quick piss break. We'll have a chat about chapter 3. And then we'll get on with chapter 4. What are you guys thinking? So obviously, we know from the last book, we know what happens at Istvan. We know exactly what happens at Istvan. So we know where this is going. So this is the moment where Mortarion has basically said to Garrow, you're coming to Istvan with me. We've got to go to Istvan. He's obviously not told him why, but Mortarion's clearly in on it. Do you know what I mean? Right, I'm gonna go for a quick piss, and then we'll have a proper chat about what's just happened. See you in a minute.
Hello, hello, hello. Fucking hell, what are you doing back, Nigel? Alright, ta-da. Oh, Nigel's off. Not saying shit. Oh, right. Let me get comfy. Let me get into a nice, comfortable position. Right, so what we saying? What we saying? Cecil's saying it's sick. Cats, I thought bro was about to die as soon as I heard thank you for your candor. Yeah, no. Well, he don't fuck about, does he, fucking Morty? Big Morty. Not messing around. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to pour myself another cup of tea, actually. Big Morty doesn't mess about. Oh, there we go. Bit of tea. Bit of tea. Lovely stuff. That'll wet the whistle, so to speak. Right. Let's see. So what are we saying then? Cats, granted, I'm also tuning in and out while I'm tidying up, but I fully expected the next snap after that line was said. Yeah, especially when they were just like going on about how fucking big he is. He could do it as well in like a second. Like not even messing around. He'd do it in like a fucking second. Cecil, I also like that it's showing you another perspective on the events. Knowing what is going to happen has an entirely different perspective on how you view the story. It no longer becomes, oh shit, what's going to happen next? But instead, how the fuck do we get from here to that? It gives you more of long-term investment of trying to make sense of it all, rather than trying to figure it out, preempt it. Yeah. Cecil, this book's really rather good so far. Mortarion is a creepy fucking guy. Yeah. He basically looks like death. That's what he looks like. Effectively. He looks like the Grim Reaper. Imagine the Grim Reaper, but wearing like pale grey like shroud instead of black. That's what he looks like. And he has like this big like, it's like an inhaler thing that he just always has on, and it's just filled with fumes and like horrible fucking chemicals from like his home planet of Barbarous that he just breathes in constantly because he doesn't need to, because obviously he was created on Terra. He was created on Earth by the Emperor, but he just wants to. He's fucked, mate. He's fucked. He's a fucking weird dude. Mother of Cats. Jay's voice for him is close to Nosferatu. Well, I always imagine that his throat is like fucked, basically, because he's just constantly inhaling these like acrid chemicals and fumes. So I imagine that he's just like, eh. You know what I mean? Like his throat is just ragged from chemical burns and shit that are just constantly healing over. Like his throat is, I imagine, the inside of his throat is constantly being burned and healing immediately. So it's just all scar tissue, just burning and healing, burning and healing, burning and healing, just constantly. Do you know what I mean? So I just imagine that his voice would just be fucked. Hey, Megan, how you doing? Jesky's fella do love our Morty. Death Guard were one of the first armies I started when I was 14. The very first being Iron Warriors. Always. You've always been a heretic, haven't you? You've always been a heretic, Jesky's fella. Oh, you're right. You are absolutely right. It says Galaxy in Flames, and it should say Flight of the Eisenstein. You're totally right. I'm going to change that right now. Good spot. It's always summit in it. It's always summit. There we go. There we go. Good spot there. Good spot, Martin. That's me with my head up my arse. Chaka, Moderator Supreme, how you doing? Gav, how you doing, Gav? This book's all about your Legion, mate. Gav's got a rather massive Death Guard army, ain't you, Gav? Oh, he's just said Gav says gonna post some of my Heresy Death Guard in the Discord, I reckon, given the book we're on. Yeah, you've got Mortarion, haven't you? Stick Mortarion in there so people can see what he looks like. Gav, I've got 3 legions. Yeah, you've got Dark Angels and fucking Blood Angels you've started now as well, haven't you? Cats, bros, chain smoking, space chemical. Basically, that's what he's doing. He's a weird one, Mortarion, but I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure we'll get to that. How are you doing, Chaka? The Moderator Supreme is here. Megan. Oh, Senor Chef, how you doing, man? Senor Chef's here. Tweak's here as well. How you doing, Tweak? Senor Chef. Love how the main character is doing it for Yorkshire. Ah, Gareth. How you doing, Chef? The fuck was that? Cats, are there any books on my Rattos? Skaven? Yeah, there will be, but that'll be Warhammer Fantasy. That Skaven are in Warhammer Fantasy. I think they're in Age of Sigmar as well, but they're not in. We don't have rat people in Warhammer 40k, sadly. Yeah, you see Nigel oofing it about in the background. But yeah, I don't know why they never did Skaven in 40k. Seems weird. Chaka, I need to ask what the Legion with the Viking-themed Space Marines are. Gonna get us bracelet from Scarlet with them. Space Wolves. Space Wolves. They're the Viking-style ones. So yeah, so what's happened in the book so far, basically? The Lodge is obviously in. Well, it seems like it's in the Death Guard as well. If you remember the Secret Lodge, the Brotherhood of the Lodge, or whatever it was called, that was in the first 3 books. That secret society of Space Marines that turned out to be not good. Well, they're clearly part of the Death Guard as well, and probably if they're part of the Death Guard, that means that they'll probably be part of other legions as well. So yeah, and Mortarion's been invited to Istvan, and we all know what happened at Istvan. So Mortarion's clearly in on it. Well, we know he's in on it anyway, don't we? Because of what happened at Istvan, but yeah, fucking hell. So that's where we're up to. He's just turned around to Garrow and basically said, "Why haven't you joined the lodge?" And he's gone, "Well, because..."
Here comes the money.
Whoa!
Keep chipping away for that sword.
Amazing, thank you so much. Martin. $13.47 into the sword. Into the sword goal. Amazing, thank you so much. I massively appreciate that. He says, keep chipping away for that sword. Oh, fucking hell. You're right, Nigel.
Many thanks, dear Queensland, for your donation towards the God Sword goal.
Nice one, Nigel. Nice one. There we go. Nigel, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigel. Thank you for that, Martin. Massively appreciate that. Not far off now. What are we off? What are we, about 90 quid off? 90, something like that? Amazing. Thank you so much. Big love, Martin. Nigel thanks you as well, clearly. Cats, holy hell, you're so close to getting that sword. Yeah, I know. Nearly there. Nearly there. Just going to stand in the middle of the street because I don't really have a back garden and I don't have a front garden because I live in a terraced house. So I'm just going to stand in the middle of the avenue and just swing it around. Do you know what I mean? Just obscenely. I've got nowhere. I literally can't swing it anywhere else. There's nowhere else to swing it. I can't swing it in the house because the house is too small. There isn't a room big enough in the house for me to swing that sword. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I won't be able to swing that sword in the house. And I can't swing it in the garden either because, well, I say garden, the yard, because that's smaller than some of the rooms in the house. So I'm just going to stand it in the middle of the street and just swing it around. There's not much room out there either because everyone parks the cars, so. Do you know what I mean? Leeds J counting down to get to payday to get me a bracelet. She's got like such a backlog of orders at the moment that we've had to pause sales because it's gone mental. Like she weren't expecting this at all, so it's gone fucking crazy. So she's just gonna clear a backlog of orders and then she'll open it back up when she's done, because it just went berserk yesterday. Like, it was fucking nuts. Like, she weren't expecting that at all. She just thought she was gonna make like 10 bracelets and and it's gone nuts. Everything's gone mental. So yeah. I'm really proud of her. Like, she's made something that nobody else is making, it seems, and everyone's gone nuts for it. So I'm fucking super proud of her. But now she's got a shitload of orders that she weren't expecting. You forgot about Nigel, Chaka. Never forget about Nigel. That's what Grandma always used to say. Yeah, Chaka, it was nuts. It's fucking nuts. So yeah, I had to pause it because it's a lot. Like, so. But yeah, she's come up with a really good idea and everybody loves it, so fucking super proud of her. Martin got ours today, they're amazing. Yes. Leeds J, do you think she'd ever do custom orders? Probably, yeah. Yeah, I would imagine so. But yeah, she's got to clear that. She's got to clear that backlog. Like, obviously, me and Jane will give her a lift with it, but she's got to paint everything and that. Megan, Jay, you were around on the 31st for me to grab my bracelet as on way to gig. That day's so passing yet. Yeah, I will be. I'm 99% of the time I am in. I'm at home. Martin, I asked for slightly different colours and it's perfect. Oh, good. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad she nailed it. She's good, isn't she? She's really fucking good. She's really, really good. Right. Khan the Betrayer one would be sick. Yeah, that would be fucking sick. I'll have to try and get hold of a Khan the Betrayer head.
Slunking, I think it is time to start the book.
Alright, fucking hell, Nigel. Jesus Christ. You don't half go on with yourself, you know. Fucking bonehead.
That is very funny, Slunking.
Sarcasm doesn't suit you, Nigel. It doesn't suit you at all. You're demeaning me and yourself. You know that, don't you? Oh, alright. Ta-ra, then. Fucking hell. Always going on with himself, isn't he? He's always going on with himself. Fucking hell. Meg, we'll drop you a message on the day and give you a time I'll be down. Yeah, that's totally fine. Absolutely fine. Mother of Cats, is Jason getting misty-eyed with pride? I say, yeah, I am. I'm really proud of her. I'm really, really proud of her. She's done great. Right. Cats, shut up, Nigel. We're being proud of Scarlet. He just doesn't get it, does he? He just doesn't understand. Right, let me pour out the rest of me tea. Fucking Nigel. He just doesn't understand. Do you know why he doesn't understand? Because he's got nobody. Do you get it? He's got no body. Because he's just a skull. He's got no body.
That is very funny, Slunking.
Oh, fuck off, Nigel. Right, let's get back in. Let's get back into this book. Chapter 4, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Two faces. A scream in the darkness. Gathering of legends. The picked screen was a flexible thing, like cloth, and it hung from the eaves of the armory chamber alcove in a manner of a tapestry. Cables trailed away to shining brass sockets in the walls, streams of data feeding images from the ship-to-ship VOX network. The view was a live signal, attenuated by interference from the Horologi star. And although it appeared to be instantaneous, it was actually a few minutes behind the real events. The transmission slowed by relativistic physics. Fucking hell, that's hard to say. Relativistic physics. There we go. Relativistic. Not that such a fact seemed to concern the Astartes gathered to watch. The display came from remote scrying pictures on the bow plane of Barbaros's Sting, a light frigate that had been tasked to follow the Jorgal world ship on its last journey. The images were being recorded for posterity. The better views would doubtless be worked into stirring newsreels for distribution across Imperial space. The world ship's drives flashed red and tongues of fusion flame erupted from their nozzles, each one as long as the Sting. At the edges of the picture, it was possible to see the glints of smaller craft,
shuttles, and thunderhawks, escaping the world ship with the last of the Imperial forces on board. The Pictors rotated to follow the monolithic craft, and smoked filters faded as the Aotan sun hove into view. The world ship was accelerating away, gaining speed with every passing moment. The controls for the propulsion system captured by the Death Guard of the Second Company had been locked open by the adepts of the Mechanicum. Barbarous' sting kept a respectful distance, drifting after the bottle world, framing its descent towards the sun. Great loops of crackling electromagnetic energy shimmered around the pearlescent cylinder as it cut into the star's invisible chromosphere, destroying the solar panels at the aft. They crisped and burned, folding in on themselves like insect wings touched by candle flames. The world ship fell faster and faster, dipping into the raging superheated plasma of the photospheric layer. Hull metal peeled away in curls a kilometre long, revealing ribs of metal that melted and ran. Finally, the alien vessel sank through a glowing coronal prominence and disappeared forever into the stellar furnace.
"Gone," murmured Brother Mokir. "Ashes and dust, as are all the enemies of the Death Guard. A fitting end for such Xenos hubris."
A swell of self-congratulatory mood passed through the assembled men of the Second Company. It was they who had made the sundive possible, after spending their blood and fire to take the heavily defended engineering domes from the Jorgal. It was fitting that they were witnesses to the alien vessel's final moments.
"Wonder how many survivors were aboard,"
said a sergeant, watching the star's rippling surface.
Mokir grunted. "None."
He turned and grinned at his company captain.
"A fine victory, Commander."
"A fine victory,"
repeated Grulgor in a rancorous tone.
"but not fine enough."
He shot a hard look up at the gallery, where Garrow stood in conversation with his Primarch.
"Curb your choler, Ignatius. For once, try not to wear it like a badge upon your chest."
Typhon drew near, the rank and file Astartes parting before his approach.
"Forgive me first, Captain,"
Grulgor retorted.
"It's just that my collar, as you put it, is apt to suffer when I'm forced to witness the unworthy rewarded."
Typhon raised an eyebrow.
"You are questioning the Primarch's decisions. Careful, Commander. There is sedition in such thoughts."
He drew close to the other man so that their conversation would be less public.
"Garrow rescues women and kills newborns, and for that he's given a draft from the cup. Have the standards of our Legion fallen so low that we reward such behaviour?"
The first captain ignored the question and answered with one of his own.
"Tell me, why do you object to Nathaniel Garrow with such vehemence? He is a Death Guard, is he not? He is your battle brother, a kinsman Astartes."
"Straight arrow, Garrow!"
Anger bubbled up through Grulgor's mocking reply.
"He is not fit to be a Death Guard. He is high-handed and superior, always looking down his nose. He thinks himself so much better than the rest of the Legion. Too proud and too good for the rest of us."
"Us?"
asked Typhon, pushing the commander to say what he knew was there just beneath the service.
"The sons of Barbarous, Galas. You and I, like men like Ujoj and Holgorg. The Death Guard who were not born upon our blighted homeworld. Garrow is a Terran, an Earthborn. He wears it like some sacred brand, always reminding us that he's our better because he fought for the Legion before it was given to Mortarion."
Grulgor shook his head.
"He pours scorn on my company,
upon our brotherhood and comradeship of our lodge, too haughty to mix with the rest of us outside rank and rule. And do you know why? Because his precious birthright is all he has. If it wasn't favoured by the Emperor with that damned eagle cuirass he wears, he wouldn't be allowed to ride the hem of my cloak.
Demeter is a Terran born, and so is Euron Farl, and Sorak, and countless others within our ranks, said the captain levelly. Do you detest them as well, Ignatius?
None of them drag the old ways around like rattling chains. None of them think themselves a cut above the rest because of their birthplace.
His eyes narrowed.
Garrow acts as if he has a right to judge me. I will not tolerate such condescension from a man who grew up watered and well fed, while my clan fought for every breath of clean air.
But is not Mortarion himself a Terran? Typhon asked with a wicked smile, daring Grulgor to go further still.
The Primarch's place of birth was barbarous,
insisted the commander, rising to the bait.
He is, and he always will be, one of us. This legion belongs to the Death Lord first and the Emperor second. Garrow should be reminded of that, not given praise he does not deserve.
Bold words, noted Typhon. But I'm afraid you may be further disappointed. Our Lord Commander has not only granted Captain Garrow the cups today, but will also take him as an equerry to the War Council at our next port of call. Grulgor's pale face flushed crimson.
Did you come to mock, Typhon? Does it amuse you to parade Garrow's favours in front of me?
The line of Typhon's jaw hardened. Watch your tone, Commander. Remember to whom you speak. He looked away. You are a true Death Guard, Grulgor. A blunt instrument. Lethal and relentless. And you are loyal to the Primarch.
Never question that, growled the Astartes, or I'll take your head. First captain or not.
The threat amused the other man. I would never dare to do such a thing. But I would ask you this. How far would your loyalty to Mortarion take you?
To the gates of hell and beyond if he commanded it.
Grulgor's reply was immediate and absolute. Por favor. Was immediate and absolute. Typhon watched him carefully. Even if it was against the will of an higher authority.
Like the Sigillite, snapped Grulgor. Or those wastrels filling the Council of Terror.
Or higher still. The commander snorted with bitter laughter.
The Death Lord first, the Emperor second. I said it and I meant it. If that makes me of lesser worth than men like Garrow, then perhaps I am.
On the contrary, nodded Typhon. Makes you all the more valuable. There are great powers soon to bloom, Ignatius. And men of your caliber will be needed when those moments come. He threw a dismissive glance up at the gallery.
And what about him?
Typhon shrugged, a peculiar gesture in the heavy plate of his armor. Nathaniel Garrow is a good soldier and a leader of men, with the respect of many Astartes in this and other legions. To have him at the Primarch's side, as you say, a man so staunch a Terran, when a time of decision comes to pass, that would carry much weight. Grulgor sneered.
Garrow has a steel rod up his backside. He would break before he would bend his knee to anything but the rule of terror.
All the more reason for the Primarch to keep a close eye on him. Typhon's gruff voice became a rough whisper. I, however,
see the reality in your viewpoint, Ignatius. And when the moment of choice comes, and Garrow does not fall into line, you might require the services of a blunt instrument, yeah?
A nod.
Just so.
The commander showed his teeth in a feral smile.
Thank you, First Captain,
he said in a louder voice.
Your counsel has been most soothing to my ill humor.
Endurance tore itself from the mad fury of the warp and crashed into corporal reality once more, leading the Death Guard flotilla into the wide-open diamond formation of the 63rd Expedition Fleet. Here we go. Garrow, once again in his full battle armor and honors kit, stood behind and off to the side of his Primarch as Mortarion observed the War Master's forces from the assembly hall. Flanked by the Death Shroud, Garrow's commander stood with one hand pressed to the thick armor-glass window that formed the right eye socket of the giant stone skull on the ship's bow.
My brother seeks to impress us,
said Mortarion.
The sons of Horus have indeed assembled a mighty force in this place.
Garrow had to admit that he had rarely seen the like, not since the days when the Emperor himself led the Great Crusade. The darkness was thick, with ships of every type and tonnage, and the space between them swarmed with auxiliary craft, shuttles, and fighters on perimeter patrols. The arrowhead arrangement of the green and grey liveried Death Guard ships slipped carefully into a pattern cleared just for that purpose. To the far starboard, across the bow of Typhon's flagship, the Terminus Est, he spied the ornate purple and gold filigree of a cruiser from the 3rd Legion, the Emperor's Children, and high above it, different anchor, blue and red-trimmed craft from the 12th Legion, the World Eaters. But what caught his attention, and held it firmly, was the single great battleship that orbited ahead of them all. Isolated in its own halo of open space and screened by a wall of sleek, Raven-class interceptors. A heavy ingot of fashioned iron. The War Master's vengeful spirit radiated quiet power. Even from this distance, Garrow could see hundreds of gun turrets and the slender rods of massive accelerator cannons that were twice the length of the Endurance. Where the Death Guard ship displayed a skull and star sigil, Horus's flagship had a massive golden ring bisected by a slim ellipse, the eye of the War Master himself, unblinking and open to see all that transpired. Soon, Garrow was set foot aboard that vessel, carrying the honor of his company with him. Repeater lights, set into a control panel beneath the windows, clicked and changed, signaling that the Endurance had come to a station. Garrow looked up at his Primarch.
My lord, a Stormbird has been prepared in launch bay for your egress. We're ready to answer the War Master's summons at your discretion.
Mortarion nodded and remained where he was, observing silently. After a moment, Garrow felt compelled to speak again.
Lord, are we not ordered to attend the War Master the moment we arrive?
The Primarch grinned in a flash of rictus.
Captain, we move from the battlefield to the arena of politics. It would be impolite of us to arrive too soon. We are the 14th Legion, and so we must respect the numbering of our brethren. The Emperor's children and the World Eaters must be allowed to arrive first. or else I would earn the ire of my brothers.
We are Death Guard,
Garrow blurted.
We are second to none.
Mortarian's smile widened.
Of course,
he agreed.
But you must understand that it is sometimes tactful to let our comrades think that it is not so.
I do not see the merit in it, Lord,
Garrow admitted. The Primarch turned away from the viewport.
Then watch and learn, Nathaniel.
In the confines of the Stormbird's Spartan crew compartment, Garrow once again felt dwarfed by his commander. Mortarian sat across the gangway from him, hunched forward so that his head was only a hand's span from the battle captain's. The Death Lord spoke in a fatherly tone. Garrow listened intently, absorbing every word as the small ship crossed the void between the Endurance and the Vengeful Spirit.
Our role at this War Council is an important one,
Mortarian said.
The data you hold in your hand is a lit taper for the inferno that is about to engulf the advanced system.
At this, Garrow opened his palm and studied the thick spool of memory wire there.
We bear the responsibility of bringing the news of this perfidy to the War Master's ears, as it was our battle brothers who came across the warning that Istvan has turned from the Emperor.
Garrow examined the coil. It was so innocuous an object to contain so volatile a potential. The little device hardly seemed capable of representing the death warrant of entire worlds. Before they had departed the Endurance, the Primarch had shown Nathaniel the picked record contained on the spool, and the images left with him a chill that he found difficult to shake off. He saw it again, the recall fresh and close to the surface. Garrow had watched the terrified face of a woman loom in the assembly hall's hololithic tank, a shape of haze and shade like some mythical spirit bent on haunting the living. She was a minor officer of the army, a major. At least, she was someone wearing the uniform of one. Garrow saw glimpses of a stone stockad's walls among the jumping shadows, the dance of orange light from a chemical candle. Perspiration made her sallow face gleam, and the slender tongue of flame reflected from her anxious green eyes. When she spoke, it was with the voice of a person broken by horrors that no mortal should ever have to live to witness. "It's a revolution," she began, pushing the words from her lips like a desperate curse. She rambled on, speaking of rejection and of superstition, of things a line soldier like her had never believed could be real. "Pral has gone mad," she growled, "and the Warsingers are with him." Garrow's brow furrowed at the names, and his master halted the replay, providing an explanation.
The noble Baron Vardis Pral is the Emperor's designate Imperialis on the capital world of the system, Istvan III.
She means to say that the governor of an entire world broke with the rule of terror to throw in with some pagan idolaters.
Nathaniel blinked, the idea unconscionable from a man of such significant rank within the Imperium.
Why? What madness could compel such a thing?
That is what my brother Horus will have us learn,
intoned the Primarch. The Astartes studied the woman's face, blurred in mid-motion as she turned to look at something out of view of her Pictor's lens.
The other word. Warsinger. My lord, I'm unfamiliar with it.
He wondered if it was some kind of colloquial name, perhaps some sort of honorific.
They were a local myth. According to the records of the 27th expedition that enforced compliance here over a decade ago, a gatherer of fantastical shaman warriors. Nothing but anecdotal evidence of their existence was ever found.
Garrow's master was circumspect, and he tapped the hololith controls with a slender finger, letting the recording run on. With abrupt violence, the woman drew a heavy stub pistol and shot and killed something indistinct at the margins of the image pickup. She hove back into view, filling the screen, her unchained panic leaching out through the hologram. "Send someone, anyone," she pleaded. "Just make this stop." And then there was the scream. The sheer wrongness of the noise, the utterly alien nature of it made Garrow's gut knot, and his fingers tightened reflexively around a bolter trigger that was not there. The impact of the sound beat the woman down and shredded the picture's image control, shifting the replay into a stuttering series of blink-fast flash frames. Nathaniel saw blood, stone, torn skin, and then silent darkness.
No word from the Istvan system followed this,
said Mortarion quietly, allowing Garrow to measure and understand what he had just viewed.
No VOX transmissions, no picture relays, no astropathic broadcasts.
The battle captain gave a stiff nod. The scream had cut through him like a knife edge, the echo of it a weapon turning to pierce his heart. Garrow shook off the eerie sensation and turned back to his liege lord. Mortarion explained that by pure chance, the distress signal had been picked up by the crew of the Valley of Halos, a supply hauler in service to the 14th Legion. Suffering a dangerous Gellerfield fluctuation while in transit to the Death Guard's 6th Company flotilla at Arcturan, the Valley had emerged from the Immaterium to effect emergency repairs. There, as the shift drifted in space at the edge of the Istvanian elliptic plane, the desperate message had found purchase. Data, addressing the rate of energy decay, pattern attenuation, and the like was scrutinized by tech adepts, revealing that the transmission had been flung into the ether more than 2 years previously. Garrow considered the frightened officer he had seen on the hololith and wondered about her fate. Her last, awful moments of life were frozen and preserved forever, while her bones lay out there somewhere, forgotten and decaying.
Did the crewmen of the Valley detect anything else of import, Master?
He asked.
Perhaps if the men aboard the transport were fully debriefed.
Mortarion glanced away, then back.
The Valley of Halos was a casualty at the Arcturan engagement. It was lost with all hands. Fortunately, this recording of the Istvan signal was conveyed to the Terminus Est before that regrettable event.
The Primarch spoke with a leaden finality on the matter that Garrow felt compelled to accept. The Deathlord placed the spool in the battle captain's hand.
Carry this burden for me, Nathaniel. And remember, watch and learn.
Inside, the vengeful spirit was no less impressive than it had been from a distance. The vast, open space of the landing bay so wide and long that Garrow imagined it would be possible to dock a starship the size of a small cutter in here, with room to spare. An honor guard slammed their fists to attention in the old martial manner, saluting with hand to breast instead of the usual crossed palms of the Aquila. The battle captain kept pace behind the Death Shroud and Mortarion, while Garrow in turn was followed by a contingent of warriors from Typhon's 1st Company, their lockstep footfalls pulsing like ready thunder as the 14th Legion's contingent marched onto the War Master's flagship. Garrow could not help but glance around, taking in as much as he could of Horus's vessel, committing everything he saw to memory. He noticed other stormbirds on landing cradles in the process of refueling for a return flight. One adorned with the snarling, fanged mouth of the World Eaters, and another trimmed in regal purple with the golden wings of the Emperor's children.
My brother Fulgrim has not graced us with his presence,
murmured Mortarion, casually dismissing the purple stormbird with thinly veiled sarcasm.
How like him?
Garrow peered closer, and saw that the ship did not fly the pennants associated with the carriage of a Primarch. Indeed, he recalled that there had been no sign of the Firebird, Fulgrim's assault ship, among the Warfleet. He found himself wondering if this was some element of politics that his master had spoken of before. Garrow frowned. He had always fancied that the Primarchs were an inviolate fraternity, comrades of such exalted status that they were beyond any petty emotions like rivalry or contention. But suddenly, such thought seemed naive. Astartes warriors like Garrow and Grulgor were raised above normal men, and yet they still disagreed in their manners, more often than Nathaniel would have liked. Would it be surprising to learn that the Primarchs, who stood above the Astartes as much as the Astartes stood above mortal men, were also prey to the same differences? Perhaps it was a good thing, Garrow decided. If the Primarchs were elevated too far towards godhood, they might lose sight of the fact that this was the Imperium of man, and it was for the good of the common people of the galaxy that they served the Emperor. With a silent member of the Sons of Horus leading their party, the Death Guard contingent moved across the cavernous bay to where a new train carriage awaited to speed Mortarion to the bow decks of the Vengeful Spirit and the Lupercal's court. Garrow let his gaze turn upward, to the maze of skeletal gantries and walkways overhead, some heavy with cranes and weapons pallets, others ringed with catwalks for servitors and crewmen. It seemed oddly static up there for a working starship in preparation for a major combat operation. The battle captain had expected dozens of figures clustering in the metal galleries to observe the arrival of the Primarchs. Even aboard so illustrious a ship as the War Master's personal barge, it would have been a rare occurrence for parties from not 2, but 3 other legions to be aboard at one time. He looked hard, expecting to see men from Horus's legion watching the proceedings, but only saw a handful, a scattering of deckhands and nothing else. Garrow shook his head. Had the circumstances been reversed and the War Council been taking place on the Endurance, he would warrant that every Astartes on the ship would have come to see. It seemed as if something was missing.
What troubles you, Nathaniel?
The Primarch had halted at the new train and was studying him. Garrow took a breath, and the nagging thoughts in his mind abruptly crystallized.
I'd been told, Lord, that the 63rd Fleet carried a substantial contingent of remembrancers with it. Considering the import of this day's meeting, just seems strange to me that I see not a single one of them hereabouts to record it.
He cast around with open hands. Mortarion raised a pale eyebrow.
Are you concerned that your heroic profile will be rendered incorrectly in some poet's doggerel, Captain? That your name might be misspelled, or some other indignity? No, my lord. But I had expected that they might mark such an uncommon moment as this gathering. Is that not their function?
The Primarch frowned. The Emperor's edict to introduce the army of artists sculptors, composers, poets, authors, and other sundry creatives to the fleets of the Great Crusade, had not met with positive response from his sons. And despite the insistence from Terra that the endeavours of the Astartes were to be documented for posterity, there were only a few in the legions that were willing to tolerate the presence of civilians. Garrow himself was largely indifferent to the idea, but he understood in an abstract way the value that future generations of humanity might gain from true accounts of their mission. For his part, the Master of the Death Guard had been careful to ensure that the ships of the 14th were always engaged elsewhere, somewhere beyond the reach of the Rememberancer delegations that were part of the larger expeditionary fleets. Mortarian's character, like that of his legion, was inward-looking, private, and guarded in the face of those he did not regard. The Death Lord considered the Rememberancers to be little more than unwanted intruders.
Garrow,
he replied.
Those gangs of ink-fingered scribblers and salon intelligionista are here, but they do not have the run of the fleet. The War Master informed me that there was an incident in recent days. Some Rememberancers lost their lives because they ventured into areas that were unsafe for them. As such, tighter controls have been placed on their movements. For their own safety, of course.
I see, replied the captain.
For the best, then. Indeed.
Mortarian entered the carriage.
After all, what we discuss today will be its own record. There will be no need for scribes or stonecutters to immortalize it. History will do that for us.
Garrow took one last look around the bay as he ascended to the boarding ramp, and from the corner of his eye a swift movement drew his attention. He glimpsed the figure only for a moment, but his oculooptic implant allowed Nathaniel's brain to process every facet of the moment with pin-sharp clarity. It was an elderly man, in the robes of an Imperator of some senior rank, quite out of place in amongst the steel stanchions and rail tracks of the landing bay. He was quick and furtive in motion, keeping to the shadowed places, intent on some destination that he seemed fearful of ever reaching. In one of the Imperator's hands was a fold of paper, perhaps a certificate or permission of some kind. The old man was puffing with effort, and almost as soon as Garrow registered him, he was gone, ducking into a companionway that disappeared within the depths of the warship. The Death Guard grimaced and boarded the tram, the curious moment adding more definition to the sense of ill-ease he had felt from the moment he had arrived on the Vengeful Spirit. What should one think of a place that was named the Lupercal's Court? The title had great vanity to it. It seemed to come with a sneer on the lips of the sons of Horus, as if the chamber were in some manner a pretender to the grand court of the Emperor on distant Terra. Garrow marched in at his rightful place, his chest stiff inside his ornamental cuirass from expectant tension. He did not know what to anticipate before him. The battle captain had seen the War Master in the flesh only once, and that was in passing, as he led the 7th Company in review by the stands during the Great Parade after Ulanor. But there he was, seated on a black throne upon a raised dais, beneath gales of sullen, uncommon banners. There were other people in the room, he was sure of it, but they were dim reflections of light and colour off the blaze of presence. That was Horus. Garrow felt a curious twinge in his legs. As if almost by muscle memory, he felt the urge to kneel. The War Master. He was indeed every iota of that. A perfect sculpture of the Astartes ideal on the stone chair, handsome and potent, radiating chained power. Robes laced with cords of white gold and copper pooled around him, cascading over the basalt frame of the throne. He wore armor of a kind Garrow had only seen before in artworks, intricately worked plates of emerald-tinted flex steel, with vambraces made of black carbon. Pieces of Horus's battle gear resembled elements of the older Mark III iron armor and the current Mark IV Maximus type, while some parts were more advanced than anything used by the Death Guard. An exotic pistol that appeared to be fashioned from glass nestled at the War Master's hip in the folds of an animal skin holster. If anything, Horus seemed barely restrained by the bonds of ceramite and metal he wore, as if one mighty flex of his shoulders might split and throw them off. Even at rest, the Lord of all legions was a supernova made flesh, ready to detonate into action in an instant. The gleam of the slit pupil eye of Horus glared from his chest, catching the brooding glow from drifting glow globes. With a near physical effort, Nathaniel tore his gaze away from the being before him and pressed down the churn of emotion he felt. Now was not the time to be awestruck and unfocused, addled like some neophyte novitiate. Watch and learn, Mortarion had ordered. Garrow would do just that. His eyeline crossed that of another Astartes on the dais in the new green livery of Horus's renamed legion, and he nodded in a brief greeting to Garviel Loken. Garrow had once shared a bunker with Loken and some of his men during the prosecution of the Orc invasion of Crypt. The Death Guard and the Lunar Wolves had fought together for a week across the frozen plains, turning the blue ice dark with Xenos blood. Loken gave him a tight smile, and the simple gesture served to ease Nathaniel's tension a little. Nearby, he saw the other members of Horus's inner circle, the Mournival, the warriors Torgadon, Aximand, and Abaddon. And an odd thought struck him. The body language of the four captains was subtle, but not so understated that Garrow could not read it. There were lines of stress drawn here. Loken and Torgadon on one side, Aximand and Abaddon on the other. He could see it in the way that they did not meet each other's eyes, the lack of the easy camaraderie that Garrow had come to think of as a key characteristic of the War Master's Legion. Was there some concealed enmity at large within the Sons of Horus? The Astartes filed the information away for later consideration. His Primarch had correctly surmised that the Lord of the Emperor's Children was not at the gathering. In his stead was a ranking officer whom Garrow knew of through first-hand experiences, from crossings in a battle that underlined the man's less than complimentary reputation. Lord Commander Eidolon and his troops were clad in war gear so elegant it made the Death Guard in their grey and green trim seem utterly featureless in comparison. The Legion had a reputation as dandies, preening over their armor and decorating themselves when other warriors looked to battle, and yet the wicked hammer carried by Eidolon and the swords of his men spoke to obvious martial skill on their part. Still, Garrow could not help but think that the Emperor's children were overdressed for the occasion. The other presence in the room was almost as imposing as Horus, and the battle captain found himself measuring the Primarch of the World Eaters against his own liege lord as the two leaders exchanged a neutral look. Where Mortarion was tall and wolf-lean, the Primarch Angron was thick-set and heavy, The Death Lord's pale aspect was at the far end of the spectrum from the Red Angel's clenched fist of a face. Eyes deep set among an orchard of scars. Angron's mere presence leaked the coiled potential for feral violence into the chamber. As Mortarion embodied the dogged, silent promise of death, so his brother Primarch was the personification of raw and murderous aggression. The Lord of the World Eaters stood broad and deadly in bronze armor and a heaped cloak of tarnished chainmail that trailed the smell of old blood in the air. A cadre of his chosen men were at his side, led by an Astartes that Garrow knew by reputation alone. Khan, master of the 8th Company. Unlike Eidolon, who was known for braggadocio, Khan's name was synonymous with brutality in battle. There were rumors of slaughters Khan had caused that even the most ruthless of the Death Guard found difficult to stomach. Garrow halted as Horus spoke, the voice commanding his total attention.
With our brother Mortarion, we are complete.
The War Master stood, and once again Garrow fought off the urge to kneel. From a shadowed niche where Nathaniel stood, a lipless servitor operated a control and the court's lamps dimmed as a hololith bloomed before them. He recognized Istvan III from the picked slates he had seen at Mortarion's hands. Orbital shots taken by long-range imagers, some hazed by the bright shape of the planet's largest satellite, the White Moon. This, then, was the world where the vile seed of Vardus Pral's treachery had taken root. Horus spoke with keen urgency, each word sounding across the chamber as he repeated the details that Mortarion had given to Garrow on the Stormbird, describing how years earlier the Primarch Korax and his Raven Guard had left Istvan in good order to be turned to the Imperial way.
Are we to assume that the truth didn't take?
Eidolon interrupted, his tone arch and sardonic, and Garrow shot him a disdainful look. It seemed the Lord Commander's poor manners had not improved since last he had seen him. Horus ignored the outspoken Astartes and instead gestured to Mortarion, who took up the thread of the briefing, moving on to the matter of the distress signal. Nathaniel knew his cue and proffered the memory spool to the waiting servitor, which dutifully loaded it into the hololith console. The message unwound and played to the assembled warriors. Instead of watching the recording again, Garrow slowly let his gaze cross over the faces of his brother Astartes, searching for some measure of their reaction to the dead woman's panic and terror. Khan mirrored his master Angron in his impassive mien, the very faintest twitch of a sneer pulling at the corner of his lips. Eidolon's haughty expression remained in place, apparently dismissive of the dishevelled and unkempt condition of the messenger. Horus was unreadable, his face as calm as that of a statue. Garrow looked away, and found the men of the Mournival. Only Torgodon and Loken seemed affected, and of them, Garviel looked to feel it the most. When the horrific killing scream came, Garrow had steeled himself against it, but still felt a churn of revulsion. He was watching Loken at that moment and saw the son of Horus flinch, just as he himself had aboard the Endurance. Garrow openly shared his comrade's discomfort. The dark message the distress signal carried was not just a call for help, a cry for the Astartes to leap to the defense of innocence. It was something much deeper, much more sinister than that. The Istvan recordings spoke of duplicity of the most base and foul kind, where men of the Imperium had turned back to the black path of ignorance, and done it willingly. The mere thought of such a thing made the Death Guard feel sick with revulsion. At Istvan, it would not be Xenos, or criminals, or foolish men blind to the Imperial truth that they were to face in combat. This foe had once been their comrades in the Emperor's service. They would be fighting tainted men, turncoats, and deserters. Traitors. The disgust churning in him turned hot and became ready anger. Garrow's mind snapped back to the moment as the War Master showed them the Coral City, the seat of government on the third planet of the system and the source of the signal. The attack was to be huge, with elements of all 4 legions, platoons of common soldiery, and Titan war machines converging on Vardas Paral's base of operations in the Precentor's palace. Nathaniel absorbed every detail, committing each element to his memory. The mention of his Primarch's name caught his attention once more.
Your objective will be to engage the main force of the Coral City's army,
said Horus, directing his words to Mortarion. The battle captain could not help but feel a swell of pride when his master spoke up after the Supreme Commander had laid out his orders.
I welcome this challenge, War Master. This is my Legion's natural battlefield.
There would be one objective to complete before the assault on the Coral City began, and that was a raid to silence the monitors on Istvan Extremis, the outermost world of the system and home to the nexus of its sensor web network. Once blinded, the defenders of Istvan 3 would only know that retribution was on its way. They would not know where or when it would strike.
Aye,
whispered Garrow to himself, staring into the depths of the hololith and the sprawl of urban complexity it presented. The Coral City would make a demanding theatre of combat, but it was one that Nathaniel was already eager to explore. The rest of the order of battle was swiftly laid down. The Emperor's children and the World Eaters would target the palace, and the War Master's own legion would attack an important religious shrine to the east, a vast cathedral complex called the Siren Hold. The name resonated in his mind, and once again Garrow turned the strange words over and over in his thoughts. Siren Hold. War Singer. Unbidden, the alien phrases brought back the creeping sense of unease and a cold foreboding that would not release him. There we go. Oh, there we go. End of chapter 4. So, what are we thinking? We know what's going to happen because we already know what happens. We've seen it in the other book. But this is all the lead up to it. It's everything that leads up to Istvan. Because if you remember, Saul Tarvitz is the one who warns Garrow. And then Garrow saves him from the fighter ships that are chasing him. And then on his way out, because Saul Tarvitz goes, I'll go and try and help the Astartes that are on the planet. And Garrow says, right, I'll leave the system and I'll try and get a message to him, to the Imperium of what's happened. On his way out, he manages to pick up fucking Cinderman, Mercedes, and fucking Keeler with Yacht and Cruz. So we're going to find out how we get to that point, basically. Owen, interesting that Typhon already knew before they'd even gone. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that Mortarion's told Typhon of what's going on. Because Typhon is second in command
to Mortarion, the Primarch. Think of Typhon as Abaddon. He's the first captain. He's second in command. So Mortarion would have definitely have told him the plan. Gav, Eidolon is another contender for the biggest dickhead award. Yeah, definitely. Eidolon's up there. Gav, unless Typhon fell to Chaos first. There we go. Unless he already knew. Gav, after all, Horus was nudged. Yeah. And also, Erebus gets about, doesn't he? Because it's clear that the Lodge has already infiltrated the Death Guard. And Erebus loves a Lodge, doesn't he? Fucking lives for a Lodge, does Erebus. Fucking loves it. Snow, I don't think Eidolon has shit on Lucius in the realm of dickheads. Ah, that was bad, wasn't it? Lucius was bad. Lucius was real bad. That was a proper betrayal. That was a proper betrayal. Little shitbag. Oh, Chaka, thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, Eidolon's just a cunt. He's just a cunt, isn't he? He's just a fucking arsehole anyway. But Lucius, dirty bastard. Lucius is a dirty bastard. Fucking... What's his face is an arsehole? Fucking Abaddon and Aximander arseholes. Fuck Aximand. Chopping Targadon's head off. Not having that. What a twat. Snow. Lucius betrayed his best friend, Saul. Can't trust a man like that. Exactly. Exactly. If you betray your best friend, you are the lowest of the low. Absolute fucking scumbag. Nothing worse than that. Fucking Jonah Arukan's up there as well. Snow, then Aximandax all sad about it makes me more mad. Yeah, yeah. Chops Targadon's head off and then he's like, didn't want to do it. It's like, well, why did you do it then? You fucking dick. You've known about it for ages. You were going to do the same thing to fucking Loken as well, you cunt. And it's even worse doing it to Targadon. Because he's been your friend longer. Do you know what I mean? You're right, Cecil. Fucking rat. There's so many rats in this story. Oh, 1 second. Oh, shit. Oh, it's alright. There we go. Yeah, there's too many rats in this story. Too many. It's just filled with them, innit? Do you know what I mean? Bastards, all of them. Jeski's fella did Big Targ dirty. Targadon deserved better. I agree. I agree. He absolutely deserved better. He was my favourite character, was Targ. He was my favourite character. Poor bastard. Got his head cut off. By Aximand as well. Do you know what I mean? Fucking Aximand. Give over. Give the fuck right over, dude. Fucking Aximand. He's a little bint. So, what are you guys thinking of this book so far? How are you enjoying it in comparison to the other ones? Hey, Fake Bark, how you doing? How you doing? You alright? Good to see you, Fake Bark. How's your day been? Fake Bark. Kids' first day back at school today. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Ours are still off for 2 more weeks, I think. Owen, I'm really liking this. The different perspective is really cool. Yeah, it is good, innit? Lamb, fantastic. Always good hearing a bunch of the things I'd forgotten. Snow, this is one of my favourite Heresy books for some of the stuff later on, for which I shall not say. Yeah. Yeah. I think I have an idea of what you mean. Chaka, loving it, though I think it's a bit harder to keep track of. Late in today didn't help either. I think it's just because it's a lot of new characters. Because with the other 3 books, it kind of revolved around the same general group of characters. Whereas this is like new characters. I mean, we've literally only just seen the characters that we were so familiar with in chapter 4. Do you know what I mean? It took 4 chapters to get to to a point where we're at Istvan. So, Lam, I do like Typhon though. Fair. Grulgar's a dick. Fake Bark, what did I miss this week? Any huge goings on? No, not massive. We've just got up to Mortarion and Garrow have just arrived at Istvan 3. So the Istvan 3 thing's about to happen. The bad thing. The bad thing's about to happen. But Garrow has no idea of any of it yet. They've only just arrived. So yeah, they're on Horus's ship, and Horus is basically saying his bullshit plan. But we've seen Horus, Aximand, Abaddon, Loken, and Torgadon. Hey, Nosset, you alright? One question. Yeah, go. What's your question, Nosset? Fade back. Next week will be fire. Yeah, it should be good. It should be good. What do you mean, Nosset? What do you mean? You saw my hair yesterday. And obviously, I'm wearing my Imperial robes. I'm wearing the Imperial livery of a Rememberancer. Do you know what I mean? The curls aren't gone, they're just under my hood. They're under my hood, bro. I'm in character, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Fake back. How is your kid's summer break going so far in the topic of breaks? Good. Good. We're having fun. Scarlett's obviously decided to start a business in the middle of fucking summer holidays. So that's great. So that's where we're at the moment. Do you know what I mean? That's where we are. Oh, hello, Nigel. You alright, mate? How you doing? You okay?
Slanking, you look tired. Maybe it is time to retire to your chambers.
Yeah, I'm quite tired. I've not slept much. Not slept much last night, Nigel. I'm quite sleepy. Fateback, dude, she's awesome. I know. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. She got it exploded yesterday though, like, because she posted a video up, and then it's just gone mental. So I've had to pause. I've had to pause her Etsy shop just so she can keep up with the orders, because it just went nuts. It went fucking insane. So I was like, right, let's get a grip on this, because this is way more than we thought it was gonna be. We thought she was just gonna make like 10 bracelets and sell some bracelets, but fucking hell. Lamb, will it be open again next Thursday? It might be a couple of weeks. It might be a couple of weeks, I reckon. 2 weeks, just to get a grip on it. Faber, I've seen a video pop up on my Insta. It made me so happy. Oh, thanks. Yeah, she's proper like proper excited. Like, she's proper like proud of herself as well. I'm just like, I'm proud of you, kid. Came up with a really sick idea and fucking put it into fucking motion. It's a really good idea. So yeah, and they look great as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, she's got a lot of orders, so. But I'll let you guys know when it's open. Sold out immediately, yeah. Like loads. Like, it's fucking crazy. So I had to pause the shop. I was just like, no. I was like, we need to get a grip on this. That's way more than we thought, so. But yeah, I'm super proud of her. She just loves it, doesn't she? Do you know what I mean? And she's always been creative like that, so. But yeah. Oh my god. Fake back, overwhelm the girl right off the rip. Yeah, I know. Well, me and Slam Queen are gonna help her get through him. So, hopefully she'll have it all done in 2 weeks. So, bloody hell, crazy though, absolutely crazy, fucking mental. But good for her. You guys are loved. Oh, thank you. We love you guys. Nosset, did they find Loken's corpse yet? No, the battle hasn't happened yet. The Garrow's only just arrived in the Istvan system, so he just arrived, and Horus has been doing his old. Oh, there's some people on this planet that have turned against the Emperor, so you all need to go down to the planet and fight him. So, yeah, the battle hasn't happened yet. Still a chance of finding Loken. What, after he's had a fucking building collapse on him and then bombed to death? I don't know about that. Don't mean shit, bro. I've seen thicker plot armor. Fucking hell. This is Warhammer. You do realize that, don't you? Are we gonna reattach Targadon's head as well? Bloody hell. Oh my god. Fate back. It's like Game of Thrones on crack. Yeah. Owen, there are no happy endings. Yeah, that's true. Ain't that right? There are no happy endings. None of this is good. Nothing good happens. Nosset. Cat didn't stay dead in Game of Thrones. Yeah, not in the books. But she did stay dead in the TV series. They missed out so much shit from the books. in the TV series. It's mad. Mad. Oh my god. Right. Guys, I think I'm going to go to bed because I am fucking cream crackered. TV series was asked for that. Yeah, I still think season 1 to 4 of Game of Thrones is the best television I've ever seen. Like, ever. It's so good. It's so good. Everything after that is shit, though. Poor Sean Bean. I know. He did it for Yorkshire, though, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? He did it for Yorkshire.
You bastard.
Bastard. You bastard. You yellow bastard.
Going for Yorkshire!
Oh, I love it so much. It'll never get old. Half the main characters were already dead before the Isfahan massacre even happened. Yeah. Fucking hell. It's a bad one. I don't even think Garrow will be around for that, though, will he? Because we're seeing all this from Garrow's point of view. I think the last thing he sees, he witnesses, before he starts to exit the system, just before he picks up Cinderman, Mercadian, Euphrates, the last thing he witnesses is Saul Tarvitz being chased by the fighters, by the Stormbirds or whatever. And he shoots them down, doesn't he, and saves Tarvitz. Tarvitz tells him what's going on. And then he fucking Garrows off with his message, isn't he? So he doesn't stick around. So I don't think we'll see any of the actual battle. I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure he just, like, immediately goes to dust it, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Right, Nigel. I think we're off skis, mate. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we bounce?
In the name of the Emperor, please do join our Discord community.
Oh, that's a very good idea, Nigel. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet joined our Discord, please do join our Discord. We have got the greatest community of people in the world. Everyone there is so super lovely. So click that link, that Discord link that I've just dropped in the chat. Join our Discord, introduce yourself, and make loads of really new, really cool friends, because you'd be super welcome. Do as Nigel says. Do you know what I mean? Do what Nigel says. Nigel's right. Join our Discord. Right, guys. From me, from Nigel, good night. I will see you guys tomorrow about 6:30, 7 o'clock for Thursday Night Terror, which is going to be a good one. So until then, guys, I will speak to you in the Discord. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Thursday Night Terror. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Nigel tonight. Thank you for the subs, the gift subs, the donations. Honestly, you guys are the best, and I love you all so much. But until tomorrow, good night, my beautiful Queechlings. Peace and love. Mwah.
Thank you so much for joining us, dear Queechlings. We will see you next week.
Bye.